Hi, welcome to Punks on Film. My name is Lawrence, a punk with toys. I'm here as I am every week with Matthew. How are you?
Doing well.
Actually, you're here more than I am, so which I'm perfectly fine with. Every now and then we need a break. Um,
I'm
so
glad you enjoyed yours. It looked like a great trip.
you know what? It was nice to get away for a couple weeks. Even though I'm like chatting with you guys before, and Tony's like, "What the hell are you doing? You're not supposed to be here." I didn't have time to do everything else. Um, so an update on the camera. As I was talking to Matthew earlier. So I ordered a new camera. I plugged it in, and it is behind. So if I wave my hand like this, I waved my hand, and like 3 seconds later, I'll see it wave. And because the microphone is obviously different than the camera, um, it doesn't work. So then I plugged in the old one, and it started working. So if this does die, I'll switch over to the uh, the monitor over here. But I'll be investing once again in probably a better camera. Maybe I shouldn't go with the Amazon budget camera.
Maybe not.
Trying to keep my costs down, man. I mean, this shit is expensive, man. It adds up.
Yep.
All right, so I'm trying to get this up here so I can see if anything starts having an issue. Um, anyway, so anything that you've been watching so far? I know you mentioned Ahsoka.
Yeah. We watched that last night, I guess.
You can-
I don't know. I just thought it was boring, and nobody was able to emote anything, and you could hear the pacing. 1, 2, 3, line. 1, 2, 3, line. One. You could literally count out the spacing, and that's all Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni does not know how to direct live action. I didn't think the characters had as much presence as they did in the animated. The cartoons were better, more presence. But if you
I
hadn't
like
watched the cartoons, I don't think that you would get what's going on in this show anyway.
I like Rosario Dawson. I think
Yeah,
most
she's
people
great.
do, but
Yep,
I'm still disappointed that they didn't ask Ashley Eckhart. Is that her name?
yep,
Who does the voice? Who looks the part of Ahsoka? Who
yep.
wanted to play? Like, why wouldn't you let her play? Like, she
She
looks this.
cosplays that. She cosplays as Ahsoka at conventions all the time. She looks
Yeah,
amazing.
and she's very gracious. She did
Yep,
put down Rosario. She's very gracious, but it's like she turned that character into this annoying little character that it started off,
yep,
and then it became a beloved character. I mean, I
yeah.
loved her throughout the Clone Wars and everything after she stopped being
Annoying.
annoying.
Yeah. No, she grew pretty quick and became a really great character. And I liked her arc in Rebels. I just think for timeline and canon wise that she should have died on Malachor. I think that would have given weight to Anakin's true fall and Vader's true rise, and the finishing off of the last of the Jedi until the Empire could take over. But apparently, Order 66 didn't mean anything because they didn't kill anybody because they're all bad guys now. I mean, everybody's a freaking Jedi. Even Sabine, who has never had any Force abilities whatsoever before, suddenly has Force abilities now.
um, it is kind of funny how many force sensitive people in Jedi years like, oh, okay, so yeah, like it kind of takes away from like Yoda and Obi-Wan being the only ones to survive,
Yep.
and maybe there was some more throughout it, and that Luke is this last one, and he has to. Now it's like, well, shit, dude, where were they all? You
So
know,
when Yoda said there is another, he meant Ahsoka, he meant Ezra, he meant um, Grogu, he meant Leia. I mean, he meant
what he meant to say is
12
there.
dozen.
He meant to say there are others.
Yeah. I said there are plenty. We got time.
When gone am I. Last of the Jedi, you will not be. Um, I'm interested to see where they take it. I was really hyped to see it, and then I was like, all right. Anything else that you're watching?
I can't think of anything off the top. Oh, Dark Winds. That show's really good. It's
What
based
is
on a
it?
book series. Dark Winds.
What's that on?
It's on AMC, I think is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we get it through our YouTube TV package.
Okay.
Um, and so it's a series of books that was written, and it really digs deep into Native American culture in the 70s and some of the stuff that was going on around then, which there's a lot of heinous stuff that was going on. And so they wrapped it up into these stories about the reservation. And the TV show kind of mixes all the book stories together a little bit, character arcs and stuff, but it's really well done. And it's been pretty enjoyable. We've liked it.
Nice. I've been catching up with Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, nice. Yes, I need to get up on that one.
Have you watched the other seasons?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god, it is so good. I mean, I told you about the bear. I think the bear is amazing.
Yeah.
Only Murders. It is such a good concept. It's like an original concept, and the fact that you have two much older guys, and a much younger girl, and it's not that creepy thing. It's all explained, and the fact that you get a second season out of it, and now a third season, but that's really good. Jack Ryan, I started watching that.
Oh yeah. Reacher and Terminal List, they were fun. I enjoyed watching those, but
I never finished Terminal List.
I
got to like the last episode, and I'm like, all right.
Hey, Captain K023 and Master Versal, always good to see you, man.
Yeah, so let's say hi to everyone that's here. We got Shark Eyes, who was here earlier. Roadhouse and Peter Griffin voice. PNC, two of the channel members right here. I never watched Family Guy. I'm just not a fan of it. Master Versal, Toy Hunter, Random Diarrhea. I almost said Random Diarrhea. I guess I still have that digital diarrhea, Random Diorama. We guys do some wonderful stuff, not in diarrhea form. Captain K, Anakin was a good guy, folks. You know what I do love? I love the memes where they always have like Anakin.
Yeah.
Like where they have Hayden Christensen and then they'll have like the original actor like outside of it. Hey, look, like, and there's digital diarrhea. Punk, I thought you'd be bigger.
Chiming in right there.
You know what? That was absolutely perfect. There was something else that I just. You Fool. Have you watched You Fool?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh my god.
I've been hearing about it.
It is so good. So I kind of rushed through that. Not rushed through it, but binged it. It's so good. It's so good, man. It's anyway. If you like that actor,
yeah,
that Latino actor, but the guy that writes it, it's all Latino. He's like the cousin in it. He's a big punk rocker, so he's always wearing punk shirts and everything. So
nice.
Unlike the guy from Super 7, I actually like him. But anyway,
we do have a. Do you have a slide of the dedicated to Memoriam?
I do.
Oh yeah.
That would be the first thing. So
yeah.
If you guys didn't know, Terry Funk, who probably could have beat the shit out of anyone in that movie, for real.
Except Sam Elliott. No, just kidding.
What?
Except Sam Elliott. No, just kidding.
We'll talk about Sam Elliott and the things I learned from Roadhouse many, many years ago.
Yeah.
But he passed away, I believe, on Tuesday.
Yep.
And if you're a wrestling fan, Bray Wyatt died yesterday or today.
Yep. Saw that too.
And he was only like 36.
Oh man.
Yeah. And I didn't realize he was the son of IRS, Barry Windham, IRS, Mike Rotundo. Yeah. So, I've had wonderful diarrheas before. Well, if you can turn it into a diorama, awesome, but I don't want to see it.
Well, I don't want to smell it, that's for sure.
And Big Rib, correct me if I'm wrong, have I ever seen Big Rib in here? In one of our chats? What's up, Punk Roadhouse? I'm in like Flynn. Hey, thank you for joining.
Awesome. Glad to have you here.
Yeah. I don't know if you're here for toys or you're here for Roadhouse. I hope for Roadhouse. If you're here for toys, well, stay, but then show up Monday too. Okay, so anyway, I gotta say, I watched this movie, and I've seen this movie 100 times. I actually had to watch it twice because I watched it once. And this was a movie that I've seen so many times. I just kind of sit back and watch it. Then I do my notes. And it's easier to go through because I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that this movie ever deserved to win an Academy Award or any type of award. But the acting and the chemistry in it, I know we were just talking about it, I think is wonderful. Dalton and Emmett, when he first meets them, and it was odd that you said that you wrote that down too, but everyone has really good chemistry throughout it.
Yeah.
And the fight scenes are really good. They really are when you start looking at it. So,
yeah, there's a big reason for that. The fight choreography was taken very seriously by two guys in the movie who hated each other right up until their fight scene. And their major fight scene in the movie, they both realized, oh, okay, you actually want to do this. Okay, this is awesome, and they bonded. But yeah, Marshall Teague and Patrick Swayze hated each other through the entire filming of this movie up until then.
Really?
Yep. Huh. Marshall Teague was a big martial artist, stuntman type of guy, and Patrick Swayze is a dancer, right? For all intents and purposes, that's what anybody knew him as. And they just were grinding and butting heads, and so their character conflict was pretty almost real.
So that has to be Jimmy that you're talking about.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Who I've never seen in another movie.
Oh, Marshall Teague's been in a lot of stuff. He's always a stuntman or a bit player, background person.
Okay.
Thug, bad guy. He actually reprised a lot of stuff in the 90s with Babylon 5. He played a bunch of characters on that and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I did a rest in peace, Terry Funk.
Yep.
Anyone has been friends with me for years on Facebook, normally I do a parody of when someone passes away. I did not do it this time because I was just being nice.
Yeah.
All right. Roadhouse. Again, it is such a cheesy movie, but it is really good. It's so much fun.
It's fun to watch. There's actually a lot of layers to it also, if you want to dissect it a little bit, which I'm going to try to a little bit anyway.
There are more layers than I think people realize.
Yeah.
So we start off and he's at his original at where he's
the cooler.
Yeah,
he's the lead cooler here, taking out the trash. A slight note there's a band in the background called the Cruzados, and the main member of that band ended up being in Tito and the Tarantulas, and they were at the Titty Twisters in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Now, I'm not a drinker. I've never been a bouncer. Is a cooler an actual term?
I have never heard that term before, but I've never worked in the industry. I've known a lot of bouncers, but I don't know that I've heard the word cooler before.
I have been friends with a lot of bouncers, big guys. I've watched them take people out. I've never once heard anyone refer to someone as a cooler. So in the chat, if someone has...
I've trained some coolers. Or some bouncers.
All right.
Yeah. You like cheese on your movies too? That's good. That's good.
Then this is the right place for you.
Yep.
This is where you need to be every Thursday. So I couldn't find where this guy, he wants to challenge Dalton.
Yep.
He cuts him. They end up throwing him out, and I love these big.
So what about the other scene right before that with the $100 bill? When he's scanning the bar, the girl's getting upset at the boyfriend, and there's a red-haired woman. Her name is Patricia Tallman. She's also from Babylon 5. Great actress, great person. The guy puts down the $100 bill or whatever, and she like stabs it with a knife.
Oh yeah.
And then that starts a fight, and then the guy tries to stab Dalton. Yep.
And he said he's been waiting.
Yep.
Now, I don't know why anyone would be waiting for someone. I've always wondered, like, all these bad guys that fight Batman, like, why do you think you're the one that's going to be able to take him down?
Hey, man, it's all about arrogance, bravado, right?
And usually the ones that want to take down Batman, they're not even, like, the head of their own, like, gang.
Right. They just have enough guys that know that he's dumb enough, they can blow enough smoke up his butt that he'll take a hit for them.
So he ends up throwing him out.
Well, no, it's brilliant the way he does it, too. The guy's like, I've been waiting for this. And he says, all right, outside. And he's like, all right. And they go outside, and he's like, bye.
Yeah, but it sets up what he's trying to do. Where it's like, be nice.
Be nice until you don't have to, and find the calmest, most rational way to get somebody out of the club. That's all your job is to do, is to get them out of the club if they're causing a scene without making a scene, without making it worse.
Especially for a nice club bar.
Right. Yeah. And if you want to have a good reputation and not be some honky-tonk bar, then, well, you got to do it the right way.
If you don't want to be the double douche.
The double douche, yeah.
Then he goes to his dressing room, and I love that the bar owner just walks in.
Yeah. While he's sitting there stitching himself up.
I gotta tell you, Terry Funk must have been looking at this going, just use super glue. That's what wrestlers
duh.
use super glue.
Well, that's what super glue was originally made for, by the way. It was made for military people to seal superficial battlefield wounds.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, it's crazy glue.
So, yeah, he shows up there. He gives him,
Frank Tillman. Yep.
Tells him how much he wants, and that when he walks when he walks. When he's done, he's done. Like, there's nothing, and then his boss comes in.
Oh, he says, deal. He says, I got a plane ticket for you right here. He says, I don't fly. It's too dangerous. and then his current boss walks in.
Who I've seen him in other things.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget, but yeah.
Yeah, you see him do exactly what he said, that when it's time, this is what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But
and he quits, and the guy's freaking out. But Frank sticks his head back in and says, I thought you'd be bigger. It becomes the tagline here of the movie.
Which is funny because people usually tell me, oh, you're not that small. I'm like, hang on.
Well, no, before we get there, man, yeah, it's crazy. Then we see Dalton driving up in his old ratty-ass car, and what does he do? He gets out and tosses the keys to the guy on the street, and he says, what do you think I am, your valet?
I couldn't find any pictures of that. I'm like, how is that picture not? And I think when you did the slides, you were taking pictures, weren't you?
I was taking pictures of the film. I was pausing it and taking pictures.
That's what I probably should do. Probably be a lot easier. But then I end up with so many on my camera.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no kidding.
So
then he says, keep it, it's yours. And then he opens up and you see this great Mercedes. And you're like, okay, this guy's thinking ahead. He never drives his car to work because he knows the environment that he works in.
Yep. I do have to say something about the whole like where he gives them the car. Anytime in a TV show where I see someone just give someone a car, they throw the keys, keep it, it's yours. I'm like, first off, who signed the title? Did you go down to Secretary of State? You don't just give a car away. Like,
You got
it's
to pay
not
taxes
possible.
on that stuff, man.
like it was to give my old car to my stepdaughter. It was like a pain in the ass. Like, but I have to go down to Secretary of State. But I'll be so happy when this thing is gone.
Right.
But you're right. Like, you see, like, here he is. He's got this nice Mercedes. You realize he's from New York, which they do talk about later on.
Well, they talk more about Memphis, but they do talk a little bit about New York.
Yeah, well, he's got a degree from.
Yeah.
And what? So then we first see Jasper. Which
Jasper.
isn't really a bad city. Right? Listen to the nice little town. It's got this nice neon light. Welcome to Jasper.
Well, it's got this bar on the outside of town. It's pretty crazy out here, called the Double Douche.
It's there are some things that I do have to laugh. Hopefully, I will remember them. I have all these notes and I'm not even looking at them. So we see him pull up, and of course, it's all these rowdy people.
And fights are breaking out everywhere.
I don't even know how is this out of control with bouncers. All right, like, you do have bouncers.
Yeah. Well, you got the Blues Brothers cage up there, them busting beer bottles on the cage for the band that's back there.
But even before, when he pulls up, because he still has the Mercedes, he walks by like a group of guys that are fully eyeing him down.
Oh yeah.
And in real life, if you walk in confident, it doesn't matter how small or big you are, most people will leave you alone.
Yep.
Because you're not showing fear, and most people don't want to mess with anyone if they don't think that they're just going to be scared.
Yep.
So we see Terry Funk right away.
Yeah, there he is. He's, doing his thing.
Just throwing people out. Say hi to Allison really quick.
What's up, Allison?
I don't know what's the Swayze cake. Is that when you see his behind, which we see a couple times in this?
Yeah, you do.
There are a lot more boobs in this movie than you would think there would be.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of those ones that I didn't have my kids, but if I had my kids, I'd be like, "Oh, you guys gotta leave." Like, you kind of forget how many boobs there are, and nice ones too.
Yep. But he's scanning around and he sees the drug deals. He sees the platinum blonde that we'll find out who she is in a little bit. We see a drunk hitting a girl. Getting tossed.
So I did have a thing. Okay, so you see the beers being thrown because the guy tries to stop or whatever.
Yeah. Behind
the cage. Now I've never seen a beer bottle break when it hits a fence.
No.
Usually it moves, like, especially a fence like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it would definitely break on the concrete floor after it hit, but
But not blow up in his face. But that would ruin the whole thing.
Well, it's okay. I mean, he's already blind, so.
Whiskey also makes you work in the morning.
Yeah, the Jeff Healey band, and that is Jeff Healey there, and he actually is blind, and he is that is his actual band that's there. So.
No, that is Cody.
Cody. Well, his name in the show is Cody. Yes, his real name is Jeff.
This one, this has made me laugh every time, probably from the first time I've seen it, where the owner's walking through, and he takes out a black marker, and this is clearly written in red. Like, no one's gonna be able to figure out like what.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I see it, I giggle at it. PNC says it's super fence. So.
Yeah. It's super electric. It's charged. It like shatters the bottles as they come in.
It's not charged if you touch it. Just if a bottle hits it, it shatters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we have Carrie Ann coming in, and talking about how what's his name has always been a jerk since he just got bigger.
He was
And
born a jerk.
Yeah, she except for she used a different word.
I don't have any pictures of Carrie Ann, believe it or not.
Oh wow!
Um,
And then she finds out that's Dalton, and she's like, "I've heard of you." And basically, she's the gossip queen, so she tells everybody that's Dalton,
yeah.
and he's famous.
So everyone knew what he had done.
Yep.
And then obviously, again, Terry Funk was cast perfect because he was always a heel in wrestling.
Right.
And he's the big guy, big tough guy. He looks menacing. So we get the exchange that obviously Dalton and Cody know each other because I guess they've traveled the dive bar scene together.
Yeah, I mean, he's a musician and he's a cooler that's probably protected him in one place or another for a while, and apparently he likes to stick around in certain places and play for a long time, and I guess Dalton's been there.
And
but Dalton kind of sneaks into the cage and sneaks up on the blind man and play a little prank on him.
Yep. Which again shows wonderful chemistry.
Yeah.
Now they discuss about how bad this place is, and he says worse than the one in Dayton. Once again, proving everyone thinks that bad things are in Ohio, unless there's another Dayton I don't know about. But
while they're commencing, Carrie Ann's going around telling everybody, he's like, he's a legend. He once ripped a guy's throat out, right out of with his bare hands. And Dalton goes over and orders a coffee.
Yep. And then there's just this big brawl breaks out.
Oh, well, okay. It starts with the guy offering this other guy to kiss his girl or feel her breasts.
Well, okay,
That's what it was.
Oh, yeah. I have Carrie Ann. So, okay, I did have a question. So, why? What's her name again? The blonde?
I forget her name.
Denise.
Yeah.
Why was Denise here? She was at Dalton's, or she's at Wesley's beckoning call.
Yep.
This is the dive bar. She's clearly hanging out with Carrie Ann because they're like, oh, I couldn't figure out why she would be here.
Well, I'm sure she's got to spend time away from her guy because he's so busy ruling the world that she gets to go have her fun doing whatever she wants. And whatever thing is, she likes to go hang out at this dive bar and cause trouble. She knows that she's protected. She's a protected class, so she can get away with whatever she wants because her guy runs everything.
All right, so you're right. This is what started the fight.
Yep.
He says, for $20, I'll let you kiss him.
Yep.
And he just sits there touching him. And he says he can't because he doesn't have
the $20.
And this causes the fight. But, trivia question. Do you know who this guy is?
I should know who it is. I off the top of my head, I didn't write it down. That's Chris Latta.
Yep.
Yes.
Starscream and Cobra Commander.
Yes.
And the only reason why I know this is because last week someone had posted a meme about it. I had no idea. I was like, what great timing.
I saw another great meme. Somebody made a diorama that one side is the Double Deuce before renovation and the other side the Double Deuce after renovation. And it looked like a 1/32nd scaled model. It looked really awesome with lights and everything.
Really?
Yeah, it was going around Instagram for a little while. It's pretty cool.
Right. So this is what caused all of this to happen.
Yep. And so they get in a big fight. They throw the dude out, and Morgan and Dalton have their first "the fuck you going on?" type of thing.
Right. Some of these got. Oh, you know what? Some of the stuff.
Oh, yep. So we got that interaction. we've got the interaction with Morgan and Dalton, and he finds out who he is, and he's working for us, and he says, "Were you going to help or not?" And he says, "Well, I'll let you know."
Yep.
And then somebody's like, "I heard you got balls big enough holding a dumpster, man." I mean, they got all kinds of great one-liners in here. And then he's like, "Opinions vary."
Oh, and I also forgot to mention that before Dalton goes up and talks to Cody, Cody has the line of, "I've got to drain the main vein."
Oh yeah, yes, he did. Well, I mean, that became the thing, right? After that, I heard that all over the place, and I think they even used it in Goonies. But you wouldn't know about that, would you?
I would not. Yeah, so Terry is not impressed with Dalton at all.
Yeah, Morgan's turning his nose up at him, and he's ready to fight him right there.
So obviously he decides to take the job, but he's got to go buy a car.
Got to go buy a crappy car.
Yes.
Loads up a bunch of extra. Then he goes over to Red's and loads up a bunch of extra tires. So he's creating relationships in the community because these are all part of the city council people that he's interacting with right here. When he buys the car and when he gets the tires and the spare parts for the car. So he's already starting to build relationships in the community.
Big Rib says, "I still say that when I gotta go."
I mean, come on, it's a classic line.
You might even forget where it actually comes from. It's been used, for so long.
I don't know if it actually came from this movie, but it's the first time I remember hearing it. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger's "I'll be back," because if you go back and watch any of his movies from the 80s or 90s, he says that line.
Yeah.
After he buys the car and then he's looking for a room for rent, this back and forth with Emmett is awesome.
So he goes here, meets Emmett, and they have, or he takes him upstairs to the barn. I'm sorry, this barn is nicer than my fucking house.
Right, that one room up there, but hey, no air conditioning, no television,
no telephone.
No telephone.
So there'd be no 4-hour streams on Monday, but
no, yeah.
But the place looks super nice. Like I'm looking all right, you're above a barn. So he takes him up there, says he'll take it.
Well, okay, so it goes back and forth. The back and forth is awesome. "You honest?" He goes, "Yes, sir." Says, "You expect me to believe that?" "No, sir." Nice cabin room apartment, and it overlooks Wesley's mansion. We see Wesley's mansion on the other side. And the helicopter buzzes and spooks the horses. And then Dalton helps Emmett wrangle up the horses a little bit. Says, "You like horses, do you? If they like me, you wouldn't steal any, would you?" "No, sir." Doesn't break eye contact, so he's like looking straight at him, trying to do that sincerity thing. And then I love it. It says, "Call me sir," like that. It's like putting an elevator in an outhouse. It don't belong. I'm Emmett.
And I gotta say, the chemistry between them, the way you see Dalton laugh and just kind of like that's how it is in the real world.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be so robotic.
Yep.
You could tell like he actually laughed about it. Throughout this whole movie, I'm watching, every time I watch one of these movies that we do, I watch it under different circumstances, looking at it differently.
Yeah.
And that's what I noticed throughout this whole movie.
Because Emmett will go through the whole list of I must have had 20 people look at the room. Nobody wants it. No phone, no TV, no air conditioning, no tolerance for the fragrance of nature. Nobody wants it. How come you do? And he's like, I just do. And he says, I got to charge you something for it. The Presbyterians will pray for my ruination. And so he gives him a price for it. And he says, fine. He said, you afford it? And it says, if it keeps you in the green with the church, I'm all about it. And, it's like, hey, ain't it funny how money seems to do that very thing to keep him in good graces with the church?
And if that would have been my son, he would have said, I don't believe in God. And it would have.
Well, I mean, it's just funnier banter when they're going back and forth, whether you believe or not. I mean, he's like, I don't care. And later on, you'll see that he is a study of philosopher, and I'll go into that a little bit later when we see the book. But that book has pretty significant relevance to American philosophy.
Should have asked me the Cobra Commander voice. I'm kind of just going back to some of these comments here. Captain, I didn't say God wasn't. But you heard my story about what my son said while we were in Florida. All right. So then we
have a staff meeting.
Yes. So now he's in charge. The best looking bouncer I've ever seen. Perfect hair. And he doesn't even waste his time with Terry and the bitch selling drugs. He just gets rid of them. He doesn't try and explain to them, hey, you know what?
Nope.
This house is going to be. He just says you're out. And you're a dead man.
Well, Morgan's like, you asshole, what am I supposed to do? And he says, there's always barber college. I said, you're a dead man. And fires the drug dealer. And he's like, it's my way or the highway. It's probably also the first time that I heard that phrase.
So one of the things I do want to say about this is that I like the fact that he fires a few people throughout this. Mm-hmm. Not all of them just go bad and have to get revenge on them. Some of them just go away.
Yep.
Where, in most movies, it'd be like, oh, they got to go join the bad guys. And the girl just went away.
Yep.
Now, Terry, come on.
Yeah. Morgan's coming back. We got to know that. But, I mean, this speech that he gives about his rules is probably one of the best bouncer speeches you could probably ever have. I mean, it's a good customer service thing, right?
Yeah.
It says, we're here to deal with the troublemakers, the 40-year-old adolescents. Where have we heard that before? Toy collectors. I'm sorry. What? Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The power drinkers and the trustees of modern chemistry. Yeah, so he's got 3 rules. Never underestimate your opponent. Expect the unexpected. Take it outside. Never start anything in the bar unless it's absolutely necessary. And be nice. If someone gets in your face, you just you be as nice as you can to him. And then that's where he gets in the back and forth with the next bad guy, which is, in my opinion, after watching the bar the first night, that would have been the first guy that I fired because he was not doing his job.
It was almost like he had a soft spot for him and wanted to give him a chance. But you're right. From the beginning, he watched how he was. But he also, I think, had noticed the bartender, too.
Yeah.
I don't think he just noticed the bartender right away.
He was definitely paying attention.
Was heard to impregnating women with his look.
It's the hair, man. It's the hair.
And then we get this wonderful line, or lines.
Yeah.
What if someone calls my mom a whore?
Well, I always say, it says, what do? You ask them to walk. It's a job, nothing personal. And then Steve gets up and says, being called a cocksucker isn't personal. Says, no, it's 2 nouns put together for a prescribed response. What if somebody calls your mama a whore? Is she?
Everything that he says is accurate.
Right. And he's so calm. He's just complacent. And the timing of those lines back and forth is perfect. It's like, be nice until it's time not to be. And then one of the younger kids is like, when will we know? You won't. I'll let you know. That's my job. I'm the cooler.
And again, it's one of those things where it's like, that's how a manager really should be.
Yeah.
This is your job until I tell you not to.
Yep. And then he's like, your job is to watch your back and watch each other's back. That's it. And then we get to the first night of action when Steve is letting underage girls
What was
in
that
the bar
again?
right away.
Can you show me that first night of action again?
What's that?
Can you show me what your first night of action with your hands were there again?
I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did.
Let's just say you were double fisting something.
Okay.
In the back room.
That's later. That's in the freezer, man.
So this is where you see, like, they're trying to clean it up. And
yeah, but Steve's letting in underage girls right off the bat.
Well, they had a Sears credit card. Isn't that what it was?
Yeah, I know. It was because he knew he was going to get one of them.
Captain K, those will work out. So this guy, he lets her up on the table to dance, which I'm sorry, I was okay with. But he asks, he tells the guy, go get her down. Yep. And he tries to do it, and this guy, everyone has a knife in this fucking town.
Hey, doesn't everybody carry knives? I thought that was SOP, man. I mean, I don't go anywhere without mine.
So he hits the bouncer, whips out his knife. Even with a knife, this guy is just not scary.
Nope.
It's hard to be scary.
Chuckles. He's wearing a white shirt. He must be Chuckles, right?
I was gonna say that just now. And this is where we see Dalton. I think this is the first time we see Dalton get physical.
Yes, it is, because he backs up his guys, just like he said he was going to do.
Yeah, he did not get physical at the first bar that we see him in.
Nope.
They just take him outside. Captain K says, "Looks like Chuckles' little brother."
Yep.
And then we see him break the table in half with a head.
Yep.
And anyone that's ever done karate and broken boards, you know that the boards that people break are the cheap wood. They don't use really strong wood.
It's not cheap wood. It's just regular pine. It's just 1 inch thick.
Yes, exactly. But when you use
unless you're in Taekwondo, then it's 1/4 inch thick balsa wood, but that's different.
But what you use on a table is much thicker.
Well, it's also interwoven, so none of the fibers are running the same way, so you couldn't just break it.
So if you smash someone's head against a table and it snapped, he's going to get a concussion.
Yep, that's a concussion.
And then we see, and I had to watch, I had to make sure I had the right picture on this because...
yeah, you got to be careful with that one.
You got me booted. I'm not going to lie. For Steve, it was worth the firing.
He wants the girl to be his regular Saturday night.
Yes.
But I'm on my break.
And they were going to town.
Oh,
you know. Again, like I said, I think it was probably worth it for him. Just.
Well, I mean, and he said, "But I'm on my break." It's good. Stay on it.
He didn't kick him out.
No, he didn't.
He basically told him, "Finish what you're doing."
Yeah,
I'm not heartless. I don't want no one going home with blue balls. I just fired you, man.
And then right after that, he goes to confront Pat.
Yeah, So unfortunately, I couldn't find anything on there. Like I guess I already watched it. Yeah. So they go back to. Oh yeah, it's the end of the movie, not the end of the movie, the end of the night, and that's where he tells them, "Well, I'll let you take it."
Well, I mean, so yeah, he goes, and then Pat looks to the boss man, and Frank backs up Dalton, and then he basically says it's going to get worse before. Dalton says it's going to get worse before it gets better, as Pat, storms off in a huff, and thinking that he's all special because he's this cool bartender. What we don't know yet is that he's the nephew of the guy running the town. But
Is that Ted Danson?
yes, we
it isn't
call
a
him
bar.
Ted Danson.
Would that make her Shelley?
That looks like Shelley. I mean, cheers, everyone! Cheers.
Oh man.
And then, right after that, we come out to why Dalton buys cheap ass cars to drive to work.
Yep. So this is the first time we see the car messed up.
Allison, you thought that guy was totally hot when you were 13? Well, I mean, for the time, it was probably pretty appropriate that he was a good looking dude.
And
but 14 was no longer.
I don't know. 14, you may have been too old for him.
Yeah, apparently, yes. Probably. So they, beat the crap out of his car, and so he starts getting out those extra tires that he bought, and starts putting them on to go home.
Now, it's kind of funny in 2023, when you look at this car when you first bought it, and you're kind of like, it only needs a nice polish, and it's probably worth a lot of money.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't in bad shape.
No.
It's not like one of the junkers my dad bought me for my first cars.
Hey, my first car was as old as I was.
It's porn Ted and Shelley. Oh my gosh. This thing goes off the rails.
And then the next scene is the sexy pool party at Brad's place.
Yeah, you call it a pool party. I called it an orgy. Okay, so quickly.
Have you ever seen the movie The Big Lebowski?
Yes.
So there's Jackie Treehorn right there.
Oh yeah. All right.
It's Jackie Treehorn.
Was anybody watching Welcome to the Terrordrome on a Toy Kind of Moon last night? If you were, you would have seen me type in pool party and make the comment, because I meant to put it in Google, but I obviously was still over here. And then I typed it in, and then I look over and I'm like, oh fuck, I just said pool party. So if anyone was watching Welcome to the Terrordrome, a Toy Kind of Mood last night, and you saw me type in pool party, this is why.
Lawrence was not having a stroke. He did not have a boomer moment. Well, maybe a slight boomer moment, but
because Travis said, like, he put the comment up. He's like, pool party. He's like, I have a pool here. Come on over.
I was wondering what that was. I wasn't watching the chat when I heard that.
Yeah, because after that I wrote like, you shouldn't be trying to do your own show when you're watching someone else chatting. But he never said that.
Well, he probably didn't understand what it was. He just skipped it. He's like, I don't know what he's talking about, and moved on. He didn't know if you were talking about him or whatever. Yeah, I can see where that would go.
But I just happened to look over and I see his pool party, and I hit enter. I'm like, I meant to do it Googling it.
Dope. Boomer.
There have been a few times that I have typed something but never entered it in a chat when I'm trying to do it. I'm like, oh yes. So he has this pool party, orgy, whatever you want to call it.
whatever, man.
And
It's a Jackie Chan part of that.
Dalton comes out, and you can tell he's admiring it.
Well, he's just checking out the neighborhood scenery, hearing the music, and seeing that there's a lot of ruckus over there. And but then he watches the Brad party. He sees the platinum blonde girl from the bar. He definitely sees her from over there.
Yeah. And then he turns the lights off.
Yeah. Well, but he was before he went out there to check it. That he was reading Jim Harrison's a poetry novel from him, and he is a prolific American writer, poet, and philosopher of the 20th century in America. Written a lot of cool stuff. But I thought it was interesting that was the book that he was reading before all this happens, which goes into that whole philosophy, multiple layers of what's actually going on here with this guy.
But my thing was
pool party with toys. Yeah, Shark Eyes. I'm sure there were toys too.
How many shirts do I have to make up for you guys? But he clearly went and took care of himself afterwards. He watched it off, then he turned the lights off, and he's like, Yep. I can even watch from here because no one can see into it.
That's right.
So,
and then we come to the next morning, and somebody stops by to bring him breakfast.
Yes. And clearly she was coming by to see if she could catch a glimpse of him, which she gets to.
Which she does, yes. We all get to see Patrick Swayze's ass.
And he's not shy.
He's not at all. Well, and he sleeps naked like everyone should, apparently. Unless you have kids.
In the barn that anyone can just walk up into.
Right? There's not exactly a door on there.
He's smoking a heater, showing that physical fitness, he's just physically built no matter what.
Yeah.
And then, so
she ridicules him for firing Pat. She's like, you shouldn't have done that.
Oh yeah.
And like you're gonna bring this on yourself. And he's like, why? I mean, I don't understand why. And then we see Jackie Cheehorn driving all over the road, singing his song.
Hold on, wait a minute. It is wishy. Brad Wesley was the wish you have before we knew what wish was. Yeah, so she pretty much tells him who Pat was, and he doesn't care.
No, I don't know that she told him he was Brad Wesley's nephew, but she just insinuated you shouldn't have fired him.
Yeah. So then he's driving, and I always laugh because this guy is just snaking the road back and forth.
Driving his Bratz car. Ford Mustang, whatever.
Funny thing is, and I wish I could have taken a picture, but I didn't have time. I was getting off the expressway in Detroit 2 days ago, I think, and there was a red convertible Mustang broken down on the side of the road in this GT style. And I laughed. I'm like, God, I wish I could have got a picture. Because I'm like, how am I going to do this? We're going to do this, and like, this car is, it's a prop in it. I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
But I think he runs him off the road. He doesn't care. He sees Dalton. He doesn't know it's Dalton. He just doesn't give a shit.
Nope. Well, I don't know that he knows it is Dalton. I don't think he freaking cares.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he sees Dalton, but he doesn't know who Dalton is yet. He doesn't care. He sees somebody coming, and he's like, I don't care.
This is my road. It's my road.
My road.
Nobody can stop me.
He's bringing the JCPenney here because of him.
Well, red for a car isn't bad luck. I don't know. Red as a person, I like red here.
So this is when we first meet Red.
He drives up, and he's got a big hole in his windshield, and he's getting stuff from Red, and is like a standing order. He says, "No, I'll pay as I go." And that's when Brad and Jimmy walk in.
PNC, I have a red Mustang.
Ford's found on road dead. Sorry.
That baby was made here in Dearborn, Michigan, so you know. You take a little bit of Michigan every time you go somewhere. So you get to meet Red. He tells the story about don't ever marry an ugly woman.
Yeah.
This type of stuff would not fly in this day and age.
Nope. No. But yeah, then Brad and Jimmy pop up. What's up, Mr. Wonderful? Glad you could join us.
All right. Mr. Wonderful. Where's Mr. Wonderful at?
Oh, so
I'm like, wait a minute.
I saw Master Versal say hi to him.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's here.
He might be. He might just be lurking. Yeah. If you're on the computer, you can type in somebody's name, and anybody who's in chat will pop up. So.
What is a woman?
Captain K, there should be a little $sign down there at the bottom if you want to send a super chat. It should be monetized on a Pump with Toys channel. And then, Brad and Jimmy pop up, and there's immediate tension between Dalton and Jimmy. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Marshall Teague and Patrick Swayze, they did not like each other. And they had real conflicts of interest or beefs with each other up until the fight scene at the end, when they both decided that they were going to start respecting each other after that. You know, two guys beating the crap out of each other for real.
Now that is something I didn't know, but I find that interesting, and it really works for the chemistry of this.
Well, and then how much of that is lore and how much of that is, those two guys trying to be professional actors and keep themselves separate, knowing that they have to have that fight and kind of creating that drama between themselves just to psych themselves up to put more intensity into that fight. It's an actor's trick as much as anything. So who knows if that was really real or not.
And there's not a lot. I mean, they don't share a lot of screen time together.
Right. Yeah.
The fight, the fight scenes when he's being a bully. Yeah.
All right. Good night.
All right. Nice of you to join us. Keep the stream going just because it helps the algorithm. And hit that like button on your way out.
Let our dulcet tones drift you off into sleep.
All right, so I got it.
And then we see Brad Wesley shaking down Red, getting money from him. And then
we see him come in. We don't know yet.
No, yeah, I mean the whole thing goes down right there. So we see him getting his percentage.
Yeah, but he leaves. Dalton doesn't find out till later on that he takes it.
Well, I think Dalton is savvy enough to know what's going on after that.
Yeah, well, he is Dalton.
But yeah, I mean, he's the man, right? Everybody knows him. He killed a guy in Memphis. And then the next scene is when Emmett finds Dalton's real car. So he sees that he's got a Mercedes hidden under a tarp in the barn.
Yeah.
And then he sees him doing his Tai Chi out, working out. And we see how ripped he is. And then Brad Wesley sees Dalton working out over there too, and he's kind of admiring him from afar.
So I wasn't able to find a whole bunch of pictures. That's why that picture's right here.
Yeah. Because then we have the bartender and the fat man.
Yeah. So as soon as he gets in, he gets called in. He gets called into the office.
Yep. And I forget his name. Tigger, and Pat, and lawyer, the big guy. I called him a lawyer at first, but he's just the big dude. Are back chewing out Frank and saying Brad Wesley supplies all the whiskey, and Pat wants his dues, and then he pulls his big old knife out,
A giant knife,
gigantic knife.
a
little wimpy
about the
dude
size of
pulls out a
Storm
giant
Shadow's
knife.
short sword.
yeah, pretty much.
He can barely hold it. That's how big it is.
Yep. And then Dalton and crew have a little kerfuffle, and they throw Pat out. And after this big old fight with the knife, he got a little stabbed and some glass, and has to go to the hospital. And that's where we meet Dr. Clay, who's related to Red, apparently.
Yes, the hot doctor. No one could see where this was going to lead.
No, this wasn't obvious at all, man. No, she's just a doctor that came to work on him. There's no chemistry there. Wait, there's burning chemistry there.
And so the one thing you have to think about, too, when he hands her his medical records, is this is a day and age that you couldn't just jump on the computer and have someone's... So he's just carrying it around.
Well, he wants to be upfront and honest with everybody. He's like, look, here's my history. She's questioning him, and he's like, pain don't hurt.
Pain don't hurt. And then she staples him, and you clearly see him wince.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely wincing because it's there. But she goes through his medical records, and for whatever reason, his medical records have his school records in there, too. Because it's like, you got a degree from NYU in philosophy? Man's search for faith. You ever win a fight? Nobody ever wins a fight.
Wait a minute. It didn't even dawn on me that his school records were with his medical records. I got to take all this in now because I never put two and two together there. Because I remember when she's like, okay, she refers to it as his dossier.
Yeah.
But yeah, it never dawned on me that his medical records have his... This is where I went to elementary school. My resume's in there too, in case you're looking for a bouncer for the hospital.
Hey, man, you know what? You never know when you're going to need all that information to, get yourself a job somewhere.
There's a drug test in there too for you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I do love the line when he says, do you ever win a fight? Nobody ever wins a fight. And that is a true statement no matter what. Because if you ever get into an actual fight, whether it's internet or physical, nobody wins. Everybody looks stupid.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I agree with that.
I don't know. I mean, if you're picking a fight, it usually comes down to ego. But,
normally someone loses a little more at least.
Yes, somebody loses a little more than the other person. Yes.
But what I did like about this, when he says pain don't hurt, and she staples him, they didn't try and make him look like this badass that isn't like he completely winces. Yep. She can see that he's in pain, that it hurts. Yep. And it's just it is little touches like that when you look at it, it's like he was a really good actor.
Yes.
He just didn't do those types of movies. But the chemistry throughout this is, like I mentioned before, I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and then, Dalton ends the conversation by asking her for a date.
Well, of course. I mean, why wouldn't he? He's shirtless again.
Well, you've seen me shirtless.
He hasn't shown his ass yet. She knows how smart he is because it was there in his college.
Well, and then here we go again. This is, I think, the third time we've heard the line, though. Is like, in that line of work, I thought you'd be bigger.
Yeah, that is the third time. But one time it was tongue in cheek.
Yes.
Because he's blind, so he didn't know.
Yeah. Yep.
So then we see these guys.
Here comes Tigger and his Bigfoot. I mean, come on, talk about a compensation vehicle. Pulls up and the Bigfoot, you know, and then the big guy, and Tigger show up, and Brad is very disappointed in his nephew, and Tigger apologizes.
So what's funny in here is that this should have happened right after they got their ass beat. But it's daytime now.
So it was, though. Think about the timing. Dalton shows up, and they have the meeting, but it's daytime when he shows up because he's over at Red's. He just leaves Red's and heads over there, and they're having this meeting. He goes upstairs, and they're having this conversation about it. The fight happens, and he goes to the doctor during the daytime.
Okay. I guess you normally think that everything in the bar happens at night, but you're right. There's actually a lot that happens during the day.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is when most bars and restaurants have their meetings anyway. So
right, yeah.
But there's a lot that happens here.
And then Tinker, you know, he apologizes, and the big dude, he's like, yeah, I'm sorry too, boss. And Brad's like, I believe you, Tinker. O'Connor, not so much. And he beats the crap out of him. And he says, you know what I don't believe in? You're a bleeder. You're weak. No endurance for pain. Just beats the crap out of the guy, and he doesn't do anything about it. Everybody's sitting there watching him.
And this is where we see Wesley does not know how to really fight.
Right.
Because I'm like, the guy had to be like faking it, like, all right. But then he tells them to get rid. First, he tells the guys to help him, and then he says, "Get rid of this guy."
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you see is them leaving Reds in the Mustang.
Yeah.
And it makes it sound
Jimmy
like
and one of the goons.
Yeah. Well, he seems like the accountant.
Yeah. Whatever.
But.
And they're getting in the car, and they're like, life is good, right as Dalton's pulling up.
But the way they made it sound was he wanted them to kill him.
I think he just was saying, get him out of my sight. It didn't seem like, you know, throw him in the river type of thing.
But it was at the end where he's like, take care of this. He's like, get rid of him.
Yeah.
But then he's back later on, so.
Yeah. I mean, there's only so much muscle in the town, right? Can't get rid of all your muscle.
So this is where Dalton really finds out exactly.
Yeah, the place is totally trashed.
Yeah.
Like, Ray, did you get robbed? And he's like, yep, every week.
Every week. Like, Chinatown.
Like, so what does Brad take? 10%. It's all legal. Does a hobby horse have a wooden dick?
Oh, man.
I like that line. Yeah, and then we jump to the wet G-string contest.
Yes.
I was going to say T-shirt, but no, it was a wet G-string contest.
And then, you know, like, first we see Wade. You know, he pulls the soldier back, you know, tells him, you know, cool it. Again, more boobs than you think of an 80s movie should have. One that we've watched on television 100 times.
Right.
Then he takes the phone call. And I love that he just, like, they know where they're working.
Yep. Yeah, his buddies.
We don't have cell phones.
Yeah. His buddy calls him a jarhead, and Garrett says, take it easy, Rambo. And he gets a call from Dalton. Just as a point of reference here, what is it? Sam Elliott. So Wade here, he is 45 years old in this role. Can you believe that?
So,
But he's playing a character who's supposed to be 55.
All right. So we just watched The Jerk. I had never seen The Jerk before.
Yeah.
And I asked my kids, I'm like, do I look as old as he does? And he's like, no. He was 33 when he did that movie.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, Steve Martin looks the exact same now.
Yep.
But I'm like, he looked old back then.
Yeah.
And he was 33. And I'm like, I do not look that. I mean, I don't. Like, I don't get old, right, guys? That's my kids.
Well, I was just thinking about it because looking at Sam here, I mean, he doesn't look 45, but he's still in good shape and everything. But
he's one of the. I used to always say, like, Ric Flair. Everyone knows who Ric Flair is. Yeah. At the end of his career of wrestling, I'm like, you know what? If I'm in that good a shape in my 60s, I'll be happy. The problem was he was in the same shape in his 30s, and that's not something to be proud of. But the fact that he stayed the same. But he looks like an older guy. You're saying that he's 35 here, and that's crazy.
No, he's 45. He's 45 in this role.
Oh, he's 45. Okay.
Yeah, because Patrick Swayze is 37 in this movie.
All right, Dad. So he calls him and asks me if he's ever heard of Brad Wesley. So obviously these guys network, and I'm glad that they didn't go into like a backstory of like, oh, you know what, I have heard. Like, nope, never heard of him. Is there a problem?
Yep.
Nothing we haven't seen before.
Yep.
But obviously he had the foresight to realize something's bad. He's calling me.
Yeah, he's calling for a reason. There's something going on here more than normal.
Yeah, and clearly this is he was his mentor.
Yep, they definitely have a good working relationship. And then next thing we see is the new remodeled Double Deuce. They got the chicken wire removed, and Carrie Ann and the waitress is actually up there singing.
Who knew?
Who knew?
I didn't know she could sing. It's the only time we see her sing too. And
then we see the platinum blonde is coming on to Dalton.
Yep.
She's trying to get in his pants.
But she's there with Jimmy.
Jimmy stops it. Yep.
Did we ever figure out if Jimmy? I believe Jimmy's actually gay.
Well, whatever. Yeah, probably.
Well, I mean, he kind of insinuates it, but even
yes, later on, and with the prison comment, yeah.
Yeah, where that would be the reason why Wesley wouldn't be worried that he's taking his girl out.
Yeah.
Although he does kind of, I think he does something with one of them in the pool party.
Oh yeah.
I might have watched that scene a couple times. Talking about other people's streams.
Brad's boys are trying to trash the place, and
so they show up. I could not get a good shot of the four of them walking in.
Yeah.
And Dalton calls over the bigger bouncer.
Yeah.
Tells him, right boot. And so this is why you see Dalton go up there.
Yep.
Tells them that they're closed. And what's he saying?
He says, we're just here to have a good time. And then he goes, "You're too stupid to have a good time."
So he goes to do this wonderful axe kick on him, which he blocks, and then drags him out by his foot.
Yep.
Now, why he didn't snap his leg at that time,
he did.
Still don't understand.
No, he did. He smashed his leg and then dragged him out, ripped the boot off, threw the guy out.
But he's back up later on, so he didn't break his leg.
Well, I mean, it's Hollywood fighting, so
Then he threw the boot on the roof, like all the people that throw the pizza on the roof of the Breaking Bad house.
Yep.
And I love that there's this boot with a knife on it. I mean, is that a thing? Is
Yes,
that a thing? I don't know
yes, that
about.
is absolutely a thing, and it comes from anybody who studied old Japanese culture or who thinks ninjas are real, because they had those kind of devices in their little foot pads that they wore, the little tabby.
Well, I should start wearing some on mine because there's some clients that I wouldn't mind.
Just kick him in the shin with your boots, man.
So he ends up beating the crap out of all four. The four of them, right?
Yeah, and as he's taking him outside, Red's niece, the doc, is sitting out there watching the fight.
Yep. She just just happens to show up because she made a point that it's not too dangerous for her.
Right.
Of course, she watches the whole thing. She's like, I bet he's sweaty underneath there with those muscles glistening. And if I remember correctly, they go out to eat, right?
Yeah, they go out to the cafe after work.
Then he pays the guy's rent for the night.
Yeah, the drunk guy sitting there at the counter. He gives the whatever the guy at the cafe some extra money just to keep him there so he's no trouble, showing that he has compassion for people in trouble. Those who go looking for trouble are not much of a problem. Those who are for those who are ready for him. It's like, yeah, so I'm always prepared to fight, basically what he's saying.
Glisten, Patrick, glisten.
He always did, Allison. He was always glistening.
Yep, and then he pays the bum's rent for the night.
Yep. And then he's like, I better take you home.
Unbalanced pH chemistry. Oh my God.
And then he's like, I better take you home before you think I'm a bad guy. And he says, well, or I know you're not a nice guy.
And then we see the car messed up for the second time.
Yeah, as they pull up in her Jeep and then they see the stop sign through the windshield and all that stuff.
Which she says, your fan club?
They are devoted.
I still use that line for so many things. If someone says something, I'm like, they are devoted. Again, the chemistry is so good. Yeah, he's laughing about it. It doesn't seem like this forced line. No. She just says your fan club,
Yep.
Doesn't he die and comes back as a ghost? No, because
that's a different movie.
I don't know if you've seen the meme, but he's been dead like 10 years and he hasn't even done Ghost 2 yet.
Right? Come on.
I saw that meme and I'm like, whoever made this is my spirit animal.
So funny story is he busted up his knee pretty bad while filming this movie, and he turned down some major roles in other movies that could have made him a lot of money, but some of them turned out to be flops anyway, and I don't know if his performance would have made it better, but he turned them down because of how much action he'd have to do in them. And so the next movie that he took after this was Ghost.
Oh,
because it wasn't as physically demanding and his knee was still messed up.
I know he did damage to his knee during Dirty Dancing too.
Yeah, but
no. He didn't want to do Dirty Dancing because of it being a dancing movie.
Oh.
I remember there's something about that. There's something with a dancing movie. He really didn't want to do it. But he ended up really damaging his knee there too.
Well, this is the one where it finished the knee off pretty much, and he didn't want to do action stuff again after Roadhouse because of how bad it messed up his knee.
Probably didn't do Roadhouse afterwards because he's like, this movie's going to be on every Saturday for the next 30 years.
That's
just a bad thing. Yeah.
Like he knew that. Yeah, you never know.
So the next day,
Yep, sitting on
he's
his
just
car.
he's just waiting
Yep,
because he just knows they're coming to get him.
yep. He knows they're looking for him, and you know he says later on why he got this place. It's like the horses let me know if anybody's coming. You know, there's nothing around here. It's nice and quiet, and he's got plenty of alarm systems that would notify him if anything was going to happen near them
You know,
while he's there.
he did. I never that never dawned on me, but yeah, he does. Yeah, he pretty much says that.
Yep.
I like when he sits up on the car and when he jumps off it, they all kind of like.
Oh yeah. Oh. Mr. Wesley wants to see you.
So he goes over and sees Wesley. This is where we see his first house.
Yep.
Where he sees his house for the first time.
And we see the giant mansion with 2 freaking pool tables. Who has 2 freaking pool tables in their house?
Well, I mean, when you have big pool parties like that, more than 2 people want to play pool at a time.
Apparently, yeah.
He can't stand the jazzercising.
Yeah, we see her jazzercising, but what else do we all notice?
The black guy.
Yeah, she's got a busted up face.
But that could have been from her boobs too. She might have been running on the treadmill.
Stop making excuses for Wesley.
Because we actually missed the line where from when Terry Funk at the beginning, the first time he goes in there and he throws the one guy out. I thought I had it. Actually, I know I had it. Where he says, the guy says, let's get nipple to nipple.
Oh,
and
yeah.
She says, she goes, I got that part covered on my own.
Yeah.
So they go see Brad Wesley's house. And he pretty much tells them, there's not enough money that you can pay me.
Well, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he's eating breakfast. He's having a Bloody Mary, offers him a Bloody Mary. And he's like, fuck you. You hear him yelling at the girlfriend, shut that crappy music off. Dalton looks around and sees a picture, and Wesley says, my grandfather. Says, he looks like an important man. And Wesley goes, he was an asshole. but you're a smart guy. You're just not too willing to negotiate, basically. And so that's when he comes up with the whole plan. He talks about him being in Korea and, building this whole place up. He built in the mall. He built the 7-Eleven, the photomat, the JCPenney. It's all because of me.
No, JCPenney is coming. It's not there yet. It's coming because of him.
Right.
I wonder if they lost to JCPenney after he was gone.
Maybe so.
Remember when they auditioned to Chris Farley?
Oh, yeah. That was an awesome sketch with
Chris Farley was an athletic big guy.
He was way more athletic than he had any right to be.
Yes. You see Tommy Boy.
Yeah, Tommy Boy. Was it 3 Ninjas?
I've never seen 3 Ninjas, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, better off. Hey, you've gotten rich off the people in this town. And then he talked about destiny. He said, you get paid for beating people up. You enjoy it? And they talk about Memphis. Here we go. We talk about Memphis. And the real reason why he killed the guy is because, we hint at that there's something more that we get to later with Wade's part of the story. But, there's some sinister meaning behind the guy that he killed. And we both know what the real reason was. So we get some history there. But basically he says, fuck you, I'm out. I don't want your money. There's no money in the world you could pay me. He says, I got you pegged. I know what you are.
So am I out of? She just shows up, right?
Let's see. We go down to.
Did I miss something?
Yeah, there's a Keith David. Keith David's behind the bar now. Keith David's the bartender. That's the first. I think this is the first time we see Keith David.
Is it the only time?
He's in a couple scenes, mostly the background though. But he gives him his coffee, and this is where they say that they're out of booze.
Yeah.
And you know they've been cut off basically, and that's when Dalton's like, Wesley, give me the phone. And so he gives him the phone and says, I'll take care of it. And basically sets up an alcohol delivery. What's that?
Like an episode of Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, I mean, come on, they're moonshiners, right? Love the moonshine.
So then when he goes home, the doctor's like waiting for
him. Girl walking up the Jeep, people messing with Dalton's car, goons see girl. The goons pull up and they see the doc, you know, with Dalton or whatever.
Yeah.
And they joke and they say, dig a hole. Basically, they're going to bury her too. And then they drive back to his place. It's quiet. And this is when he says, it's quiet. The horses let me know when anyone comes around. And he overlooks Brad Wesley's place. And then that's when she reveals that Red Webster's her uncle. And then they kind of do their thing.
DJ, are you from Memphis? kind of the feeling that I'm getting here. Now, this picture, if you notice, I have it all the way down because I couldn't tell if there was things in it that I shouldn't show because I couldn't tell if it was like where his hands were at, where they're...
This is where I have in my notes the obligatory sex scene.
Right, so now we all know DJ is from Memphis.
Yep.
Where Dalton obviously...
killed the dude, ripped his throat out.
Ripped the throat right out. Don't worry, he does more damage here by the end of the movie. All right, so that's the end of this slideshow. I can't believe how big this is.
You know,
it was over a barbecue sandwich. All right.
And then she's asking him to stay basically in the morning, and he's like, I don't think so. And you know, and then you also see Wesley. He's watching like a perv. He's got his binoculars.
Yes.
Watching them.
Yeah, he's kind of a perv. But we also find out later on that he's a little obsessed with her.
Obsessed, yeah, very much so. In the morning, Dalton gives Emmett a hand. And then he's like, you know, you're smart. You should pitch a tent. It's like, well, that's a double entendre there, isn't it? He says, sometimes I am just not that smart. And says, you never know. Maybe she's smart enough for the both of you. Because, you know, Emmett knows what's going on there.
Allison, what happens in Memphis stays in Memphis. Unless you got barbecue sauce on it. And then it might cross the state line until you poop.
Whew, that's not the best barbecue in Memphis then. I'm just saying, there's good barbecue in Memphis. There is. But, you know, I still say Texas is better, but that's because I live in Texas.
Oh, man.
And then we go back to the bar with Cody and Dalton. And then that's when he finds out that the platinum blonde girl the doc had a relationship with Wesley before she went off to medical school. And then the truck shows up. So we're getting a delivery of alcohol.
Yep.
And right after the truck shows up, Wade rides up. So we get Sam Elliott showing up on a motorcycle.
And he utters the line The double douche.
Yep.
Which is
Double
one of
douche.
those lines that as a kid, it kind of goes on. You don't realize it.
Yep.
Although he says it numerous times.
Yeah.
He does say it more than once, you know. But how he says it is so perfect.
Yep.
Because that's exactly what we probably would have said to. Like, if you
Right.
saw this, you'd be like, double douche. All right, we got to go.
And then we get the goons that show up.
Yep.
They pull directly up to the back, apparently. You know, they don't have to worry about nothing. And then they start smashing booze.
Well, they start pretty much saying that this is closed. That's, you know, Dalton tells them to go take a break because he doesn't want him being involved in it. And then you have, you know, Wade walks through and asks if he has a scrawny little runt here.
Yeah, so there's two things going on at once. The shipment is coming in, and Dalton goes back out to the shipment, and the guys come up, and he's trying to de-escalate the situation with the goons, and Wade's walking into the bar. Wade's walking into the bar looking for a scrawny little runt, and people are, you know, on guard about that. And but the other guys have started to beat the crap out of Dalton already.
Yeah.
And then Frank recognizes Wade, and everybody starts calming down because they realize who this guy is.
He says, "I know you," and he offered to pay for his beer.
Right, and then they tell him that he's out back, and Sam Elliott comes walking out and seeing Dalton getting the crap beat out of him. And says, "How's it going, mijo?"
I didn't help him right away. He watches him get his ass beat. He's just like,
you know?
he's just watching him.
And then he's like, "Mind your own business, Dad." Says, "You want to fight, dickless?" "Well, I sure as hell ain't gonna show you my dick."
Do you think earlier this week when he found the news of Terry passing, he said, "Who's the dad now?" Dad outlived his son.
Ouch. Ouch, punk. Ouch. And
it's the first time we hear him refer to him as Mijo, right?
It's the first time we hear it, but he uses it consistently through the rest of the movie.
Yep. Which to me is a nice touch. Like he has obviously a nickname for him. They don't ever say why.
Nope.
But he's the only one that ever refers to him like that.
Yep. Doesn't matter. And
mind your own business, Dad. And then the big tall guy approaches him.
Well, he takes that dude out. That's the one. He's like, "I sure as hell ain't gonna show you my dick," and bam, punches him right in the dick,
and says like,
"Damn, that hurts, don't it?"
He still hasn't started to help Dalton out yet. Like Dalton's still getting his ass beat. Dalton's still getting his ass beat.
Wade only fights off the people that attack him. He literally does. Except for that one guy who got in his face and he punched him in the dick. And then the other guys started coming after him and he takes them out, and that takes him off of Dalton so Dalton can defend himself after that. Yeah. And what do they say when they run the bad guys off? Dalton's like, "I had it under control."
Right here?
Yes.
But this is where we see Sam Elliott does not know how to fight.
No.
I've said this before, like, whenever I watch something and I see somebody that is supposed to be a skateboarder, and, like, you see him get on the board, and I'm like, oh, my God, like, you can tell they've never rode a skateboard. You don't have to be a professional. Like, if you're in a movie, like, if you're going to have someone and, like, they're really into skateboarding, they should know how to skateboard down the road.
Yeah.
Right? Just like you watch basketball, and you see someone shooting, and you're like, you don't shoot like that.
Right.
No ability. Like this guy, he just like way holds his fist, and you're like, Really? You're holding it like
Yeah.
um
He played some Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
yeah, you know what? Exactly. And then all the bouncers come out, everyone comes out.
And we get introduced and we get his name, Wade Garrett. Everybody's like, oh, Wade Garrett.
But does he not say Wade Gareth?
No, he says Garrett.
He swear and of course it's the blind guy. How does the blind guy know who this is?
Oh, he knows his voice. I mean, how do you miss Sam Elliott's voice? I mean, come on, everybody knows.
Okay.
But you know what? Maybe Wade contacted him and let him know that he was trying to get the download of the situation, the information he didn't know, and that's why he drove up there. Who knows?
I think PNC nailed it.
Yeah.
Smell. I know the smell of them together.
Ooh.
All right. So he instantly wants to introduce him to Doc.
Yep. I got somebody you want to meet. He's like, uh-oh. They pull up to the hospital. He says, I thought you said you were all right. And then Doc walks out and he says, I fucking knew it.
And if Doc would have said, you know what, I want to go home with you, Sam would have been banging her.
Oh,
probably in the back seat on the way back to where while Dalton was driving.
Yep. It's our storytelling about scars. And what does Wade do? He unzips his pants to show her a scar on his side. It's not even that low, but he has to unzip his pants to do it. I think he did it to see how she was going to respond to him unzipping his pants in the middle of the diner.
She's a doctor. She's
Right.
seen it. She's. So
and then he immediately asks her to dance.
Yeah. Because they were at a bar first, and then they left, so they go eat some breakfast.
Yeah.
But he asked her to dance there.
Yeah, he does. What song is playing on the radio?
I don't know.
That they're dancing to? Oh, all my exes live in Texas.
Yeah. I know that while I was doing this, the Dirty Dancing song came on while listening to 80s hits on Alexa on Amazon. That's convenient. So she goes to the bathroom, and this is where we really find out.
Yep. That girl has entirely too many brains to have an ass like that.
I have to agree with them. I'm not gonna lie. There were no ugly girls or bad tits in this movie.
No, they did. Yeah, they cast well.
Hell, even Dalton's ass looked good, and I'm not even gay.
I mean, how can you deny Patrick Swayze's ass? I mean, come
on. So this is where we find the whole story out.
Yep.
And this goes back to what I said about the chemistry in this.
Yep.
This is how you really would talk with someone that is like your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he can tell that he's kind of already pulling back.
Yep.
You know, he starts off nice.
Well, it starts off nice, but you can hear it in Sam Elliott's performance when he's like, you had that cut, that girl never holds you to, you know, he had to stop himself from saying, see you next Tuesday.
Yes. You know what? I noticed that too. And I noticed it before when I was younger, but I never really caught what he was doing and never realized how many people hate that word.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, I mean, he's, you know, the way he changes it, but it starts civil, and then you can see he's starting to get mad about it because he knows that he needs to take care of it. And he explains the whole situation, and everything that he says he's absolutely right about.
Yep.
He had two choices.
Yep.
I mean, I guess you could just incapacitate him, but
Yeah, but I mean, he's like you can die or let the motherfucker kill you.
yeah. So, but I love that he's real angry, and I love when she comes back.
Yep.
She feels that there's this tension for some reason.
There is tension between them. Yep.
And she doesn't know what it is. They don't say anything. Like men, they never discuss it yet. We don't discuss it.
Well, and then she's like, I got to get some sleep, and Wade's line comes back, Doc, I'll get all the sleep I need when I'm dead.
Which I still tell people that when I'm like, dude, you can have all the time to sleep when you're dead. You know, like when I say I don't sleep that much, I'm like, dude, when I die, of course, I don't know why I'm staying up normally, but
whatever. And then we're back at the club, and we've got Wade and Dalton. And then cops on the phone. Red's place is on fire.
So, Red's place seems to be right across the street.
It's not even across the street. So, you know, in small towns, they've got little turnabout type of things or little side things, whatever. They're in the same area.
Yes.
So if you pull off the road to that side, it's not even across the street. It's like literally it's next door. It's spitting distance from the Double Deuce.
And you can see there's nothing else around it.
They're on the edge of town.
It's a standalone hardware store.
Yeah.
And the thing is engulfed in flames.
Yep. Well, you know, I don't know how many small towns you've been through like Wyoming and the Midwest or Midwest or West Side or whatever. There's lots of little places like that. So my mom's had a resale shop that was right next to a U-Haul building. It's right next to a guy who made knives and a feed store, and they were all on one side of the road. And so they build the buildings there.
Yeah. But there's nothing there. You see these firefighters, they're already there.
Yeah, they're out there pretty quick.
And the thing is just burning down. The fact that no one notices is kind of shocking, but...
Well, and then it blows up.
Yes. But there's one part in this scene that I can't understand.
Yeah.
Is you see this ambulance go flying by.
Yeah.
Why? Where is the ambulance going?
Who's in the ambulance?
What?
Who's in the ambulance?
Why? I mean, why would anyone be in the ambulance? There was no one in... It just went flying by. I'm like, wait, why weren't you stopping at the fire? Where are you going? Because you went right by everyone.
Because we had to show an emergency vehicle across the screen. It's tension, man. It's dramatic tension.
This is where the movie starts wrapping up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Wesley is trashing Red and bragging, essentially. You know, talking about, you know, what a terrible businessman he was and wanting the band to play a song for him. And, you know, Wade's ready to fight. The girl starts dancing and Dalton's got to get her down.
Yeah,
but she starts stripping.
Yeah, I'm still a little confused on the whole relationship here. It's like he's telling her, hey, you know what? Seduce him. Go sleep with him. But you're my girl. Like, I'm not understanding that whole...
It's a power dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it. But it is a power move. He likes to watch, I guess. Yeah, you know, I don't know.
You know, he lets her dance for a while. You know, she tries to evade him. There's all these things to hide her breaths, even though you see them. And then he finally gets her, brings her back. And what does he tell her?
If you're going to have a pet, keep her on a leash.
It's kind of insulting.
I mean, come on now. And that's when Jimmy starts his staff kata.
There is a lot to break down in this fight.
he goes out there and starts spinning the pool cue stick around like it's a Okinawan staff weapon.
Like he's Donatello.
Like he's Donatello, yeah. And then the guys are like, "What do you want us to do, boss?" And Dalton nods, and that's when the fight starts. And they start trashing the bar. And Jimmy, everybody's fighting, mass chaos. Chaos is ensuing, and Jimmy calls out Wade.
No. Jimmy pole vaults onto the stage.
Okay.
Right? He pole vaults onto the stage using the cue stick. And then he calls Wade out.
Okay, you're right.
And this is the second time we see Wade does not know how to fight. That Sam Elliott does not know how to fight. And it hurts me to say that, all right?
Yeah, no. He's a Western punch him up guy. He's not a big time fighter. And then the fight continues, and then Wade's getting his butt kicked, and so Dalton has to jump in to help Wade out. And between the two of them, Wesley doesn't. Wesley pulls out the gun and shoots the ceiling and stops it before, Marshall Teague gets taken out.
So the one thing I really liked in this fight when Wade and Jimmy are fighting is how Dalton jumps in.
Yeah,
Because he's not in the picture at all. Right. And then all of a sudden he goes to throw an axe kick at him. And he just jumps in there and he grabs it, and it's like, this is cool. This is what we wanted in The Force Awakens. We wanted Luke Skywalker to show up and kick ass. But we didn't get it.
Yeah, Wade, I'm glad you're here to chat with us, Wade Hallison. But yeah, we're talking about Wade Garrett, not you. So sorry.
I'm Wade. I'm sorry about your demise that's about to happen.
Yeah, well, no, that's a little bit. Yeah.
Just make sure the quarter lands on heads.
Yes, very much so.
So Sam Elliott, you're right. He's ready to fight. You have Dalton, who's just really, really pissy. There's and the band plays the whole time. It's like the fucking Titanic, all right?
Of course. Why is the band going to stop because a fight breaks out? I mean, come on.
He can't even see that they're fighting. Why would he stop? He can't see. He can't enjoy it.
There it is. Yep.
So, and you can really see, like, Sam is really gassed. Like, he is definitely gassed in real life.
That's why he didn't stop. He couldn't see.
It's okay. I become the first Ghost Rider.
That's true. Yeah, Sam Elliott was the first Ghost Rider. Yeah,
Jeff Healy couldn't see what was happening. See, Allison's on the same page as me.
Yeah.
So they both kind of fight him, and then Brad Wesley just happens to have a gun.
Of course. Why would he not?
Now, one thing that doesn't make any sense is that we do find out later on that the owner has his own gun, so why didn't he just use it and finish this? But
politics, man, politics. We got to let the story play out.
All right.
And then we come to the town meeting.
Yes.
And they're there to support Red rebuilding. You got the used car guy, saying insurance will cover it, right? I mean, we're going to help you out. And Red's like, nah, man, I'm out. I mean, there's no amount of money that can convince me to stay. Dalton's there, and Dalton's listening to all this stuff. And the car dealer guy, Frank was like, he was afraid of you, Dalton. And he says, no, he wasn't. And walks out.
And I like that They never made Brad Wesley seem like he was scared of anything.
Yeah.
Not until the end.
Yeah.
After Jimmy, that's when you see him start like, shit's bad.
Yep.
And then we have the car dealership guy say, "You have insurance, don't you?"
Yeah.
Which will come back very shortly.
And bite him in the ass just very shortly. Because that's the next scene.
Because if you wrecked your car and your buddy was like, "Well, you have insurance, right?" And then 2 days later he wrecked his car, the first thing you'd be like, "Well, you have insurance,
You got insurance, don't you?" Which I love how Red throws that back in his face. But and at first you can't figure out exactly what's going on. It's like, oh, at the car dealership. What the heck's going on at the car dealership? And you don't really get exactly what's going on until you see Bigfoot.
Which is comical because you don't drive monster trucks. You just drive them around.
They're illegal to drive on the roads, people. Yes.
Well, it is Brad Wesley's town, so.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah.
I did find it ironic that Bigfoot is a Ford and it was smashing through the Ford dealership. I also found it ironic that there were still station wagons back then, but
That was the 80s, man. Station wagons lasted up until the late 80s.
I know, but I just.
And then in the early 2000s, you had the Outbacks, which kind of brought them back.
Well, I mean, they had the Taurus one. You know,
the Taurus one. Oh man, I remember those.
As much as I loved the Dodge Magnum, it was a station wagon. It just looked really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and then they even brought back the wood paneling for a little while in the early 2000s.
Yes, they did. So Brad Wesley's having a good old time. As this guy just smashes through while people are in the showroom.
Oh yeah, I mean, this guy's clearly a sociopath, psychopath, because he doesn't give a fuck. I mean, I understand having law enforcement in your pocket, but if you do some bullshit like this, how can they not? It doesn't matter how much you're paying them. How can they not do something about it?
Not only that, there's all these people outside knowing something's going to happen, and yet they're still inside just working.
Well, you know the mob mentality. Yeah, smash stuff. So
this guy just smashes through here, which, like the Dukes of Hazzard, when you get older, you realize like the General Lee just cannot jump. It had to go off a ramp. And anyone that's ever seen a monster truck rally knows there is big dirt mounds to lead up. The tires aren't that big.
Not only that, the damage to the frame and the tires upon impact.
Yes.
You have to know that car is done. They had to switch cars after that.
So he smashes through it. These people are still looking at cars.
That's right, Allison.
Like,
Sunday. Bigfoot will be at the Ford dealership.
They had Wade right there to do the voiceover too for it.
They sure did. I mean, perfect. Well, I mean, they had Chris Latta. They could have gotten him too.
Oh yeah, like man. And this is where we see Elizabeth run up and pretty much, ask, "What is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
This is where he tells her, "You need to get him out of here."
Yep. This is where she realized how fucking crazy Brad Wesley is and how crazy these people are that are dealing with him.
What DJ makes a very good point. The man is bringing in J.C. Penney's. You can drive a monster truck in his town.
You know what? If J.C. Penney has to go right there where the car dealership was, I mean, he just cleared the pathway.
Like, J.C. Penney's wants this. All right, they've asked for this. Looks like he's saying, "Welcome to Wagon Days."
Oh man, you got me, Wade.
Oh, that's awesome. It's like the perfect shot. And understand, like, I don't take the pictures. I look for them.
Yes.
Oh shit. Oh, this one's making me some good laughs here. Oh, Wagon Days. So anyway, yeah, so this is where she really finds out he's nuts.
Yeah.
And this is where Red says, "Yeah,
you got insurance, don't you?"
And he's laughing about it too. It was even
Of
better.
course he is.
Like he's like, you know what? Hey, my hardware started blowing up. It's not worth it for this fucking life. You know, like every town meeting after that, he's like, "Hey, remember when I said, oh, you have insurance too?" Oh.
JC Penney wants this.
JC Penney's wants this, and the people of this town want suede vests and out of fashion denim. Hey.
My uncle made a lot of money working for JC Penney's, and then he went and started his own company.
Oh man.
Hey there, Rowan. How are you tonight?
Buddy, it's just pouring outside. It's storming and everything. You ain't gonna want to go out anyway. Don't worry, we'll get to the end.
We're almost there. And then we get to the
like he understands. He understands. Like, I don't know.
We get to training with Dalton and Wade.
Yeah, so he's training. I love his training, man.
Yeah. Punch the bag. Wade
shows up. He's like, dude, let's just get out of here. You know?
Let it go. Let's get out of here.
Yep.
Don't do this.
And, you know, he's beating the crap out of that punching bag. Then he does the climbing rope up to the second level.
Yeah, I mean, Dalton doesn't want to hear it. You know, he's just moving his way out. Just let me do this rope climb. Make you.
And then he has a climbing rope, and then there's another heavy bag upstairs.
And then you know, it's like you can leave anytime you want, man. Leave me the fuck out of it. And he's like, yeah. You're right. Maybe I should kick your ass.
And that's where he goes.
And he's like, you taught me as much as I ever taught you.
I really do think, like, again, like, you see this wonderful relationship between them. Now, whether it's on screen or not, you just get this feeling like these two really do care about each other. But Wade knows, like, he's been around longer. He knows when to call it quits. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's like, you know what? It's done. It's over. Like,
yeah, because he knows that the next thing that's going to happen is people are going to get hurt or die. Yeah, he's very aware of it.
He just doesn't know who is going to die yet.
Yeah. Yep.
I've got to tell my kids this is stick training therapy.
What? Of course it is. That's exactly what happened.
Well, you know what? If it would have been Cody training him or fighting with him, or Hard Master training Snake Eyes, no, he's not Asian.
Yeah, there you are.
If Dalton was Asian, then it could be. So
and then,
no, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say. After this whole conversation, they're going back and forth. Next, Doc comes in to tell him to get the heck out of town.
Yeah. So she shows up.
Yeah, she's like, you don't know him, and he's like, BS. I've seen thousands like him. no one will stand up to him, but you can. And Brad Wesley picked me, and he fucked up when he picked me. He's like, talk about a fucking ego, man. I mean, come on.
This is where you really do see he's got this big ego.
Yeah. It's like nobody's gonna step on me. And I get it, but
and she does do a wonderful job of like, again, chemistry here. Like she is really angry and scared.
Yep.
Mr. Wonderful is back.
What's up, Mr. Wonderful?
We didn't know you were here, other than that we saw Master Versal say you were here, but I still never saw when you were here. But I apologize.
Well, thanks for coming in and saying something. Hi. What's up, Travis? And then, they just go back and forth. They do have a wonderful chemistry and a wonderful back and forth about it feels like a real conversation. I mean, this doesn't feel scripted the way they're going back and forth.
Yeah.
And she's genuinely worried about his safety and wants him to be safe and wants this town to go back to normal or whatever. And it's like, how are you going to do this? And then while they're in the middle of the conversation, kablooey.
Right here. Who's going to save us from you?
Yep.
I mean, was he going to turn and start taking 10% of all the businesses?
I mean, clearly he didn't have that kind of mindset, but she was thinking, promoting, and he's a little mentally unbalanced as well in this situation.
Yeah, he's really off his rocker. He doesn't listen to his best friend. He's not listening to the hot doctor with the ass. You know, way too good to have brains.
Too many brains for that ass. Yeah.
Yeah. And she clearly did dirty things with him. He runs in the house, saves Emmett, who wears a onesie. Clearly, this is Santa Claus in the winter.
At this point, in my humble opinion, you've got this small town, and you just blew up the auto parts hardware store, and you blew up a dude's home.
Right across from your house.
Right across from your house. I mean, at some point, you'd think there'd be federal investigators involved in what's going on here.
You were there, and you let your guys monster truck over the car dealership.
There's so many red flags here that higher level law enforcement, state troopers, or federal agents would be involved in the investigation of what the hell's going on here.
Okay, did he take a shower? He was really sweaty and dirty before. I think the answer to that is I don't think so. He looks kind of glistening here. He just has perfect hair.
That's just his hair, man. I mean, yeah. I am the law.
So he hears the motorcycle go, and then he sees Jimmy.
And in my head, when I watched it this last time, I see him riding off like that, and I see Dalton chasing him. The first things that came into my head were Mortal Kombat.
So what is odd about this is that the big bad tough guy that you would think is the final boss or would be right under Brad Wesley is the first one to get taken out for good.
Well, for good. Yeah. It's kind of strange also that Jimmy would be the one to do this. This doesn't seem like the thing that Jimmy would do. He seems very much more egotistic and wants to have his face in there. Him running off like this is a big FU to anybody who sees that happen. But at the same time, he's kind of putting himself out there in a cowardly way. I mean, he doesn't seem like a Firefly guy. He seems more like a big boa type of guy, you know?
The 80s hair gel was magic.
The only time that you can pull off a mullet is if you're Patrick Swayze. I'm just saying.
Or a hockey player.
No.
I think they're required to have one at some point during their professional career.
Okay, fair enough. I imagine that's true. Yes.
And some of the greatest hockey fighters had amazing mullets. But
You know
for the
why,
most
don't
part,
you?
what?
You know why they had those mullets, right? Because of Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse.
So this fight scene is amazing. There are some awesome lines in it.
Yes.
He goes running, he knocks him off the bike, which is awesome. I love that. Like,
Yep.
it's just, and one of the things I like about this fight scene is it's not one-sided.
No.
You know, it's back and forth throughout it, and nothing's too crazy. You know,
Right.
like when it comes to Arnold Schwarzenegger ones, well, we've already found out he's superhuman, carrying tree trunks on his shoulder and shit. This thing's going back and forth. So this is what he tells him. I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
Yeah, and what an interesting statement.
Yes. Which to me was always like the best line, but when I was watching it this time, I was like, the best line is when he just goes, "You are an asshole."
Yeah.
That is something you would say in an argument or a fight. Like you would just mumble it under your breath.
Yep.
And I just thought like the lines in this are just awesome.
Yep.
You know, there's just a few. They're right when they need to be. But when he says you are an asshole, like it's like, oh my God, that is exactly what you would say when you're so mad at someone.
Yep. What else is there to say?
He was trying to get away. He was going super slow on that bike. Yeah, I was trying to avoid that. Yeah. I think you probably could have outrun him on the bike. Although he was only going across the lake. It's not like he was going far.
Okay, man, hold on a second. Now, that's a river. So we don't know how far he's got to go down the road before there's a bridge or some crossway to get across there to get over to Wesley's side of the river.
It ain't that far.
We don't know.
So he finally pulls. So I find it funny. He says, "I'm going to kill you the old-fashioned way."
Yeah.
Which, by my estimate, they were killing people by hand way before they killed people with guns. So technically, it's not the old-fashioned way he was going to do it.
It was the easier way because he knew that he wasn't going to beat him in hand-to-hand at that point.
But he does his kick to knock the gun out of his hand, and then he rips the Adam's apple out.
Yeah.
Now, you are a martial artist.
Yep.
And you're a doctor.
Yep.
Exactly how much strength would you need to rip an Adam's apple clean out of someone's neck?
The difficulty lies in the puncturing of the skin to do that. You'd be easier to crush it than you would be to rip it out.
Okay. So, is it safe to say this is probably not accurate?
Yes.
All right. I didn't really need you to confirm that. Even as a kid, I was like, you can't really rip someone's skin out.
I mean, you can dislodge it, other stuff, whatever. But if you go in there and you rip a hold of it, it's really easy. It's really easy to crush it. But to actually pull it all the way out, that'd take a little bit more. You'd have to have some serious nails.
Wait, this is the saddest part of Patrick Swayze dying is him not being in the Expendables.
Oh. I do want to see Expendables 4. That looks amazing. Tony Jaa is going to be in it. I love Tony Jaa. I can't wait for that one to come out.
I've actually never seen any of the Expendables.
I
And
really enjoyed them.
And I don't know why, because it seems like exactly what we wanted as kids in the 80s. All your biggest, all the biggest guys, action guys to be in movies fighting. And the movie knows what it is. Just that.
Exactly. And I mean, and you get people, Jean-Claude comes back and plays a bad guy. You get Chuck Norris comes into it and plays a guy that helps him out. And you get Jet Li, you get Tony Jaa, you get a whole bunch of people. The only one that hasn't come back that I really wish would is Cynthia Rothrock. I would love her to come back and do something with it. But
yeah, I do have to watch those. Those are that.
Yeah. They're fun. I really enjoyed all.
That's what it is. They're just fun action movies.
Yep.
So there we.
So there is Jimmy. He's dead, and the doc freaks out, and she realizes you're a psycho killer. I'm gone. Get out. I'm out of here.
Yeah. She goes to look, and I mean, I guess if I saw someone rip someone's Adam's apple out, I might be like, you know what? Maybe you are crazier than Brad.
Wait, what? Travis, is that true?
Travis, my gosh. Don't ever make fun of me. Well, you can't anyway. because if anyone doesn't know, you know what, we're gonna have to. We have to do Spaceballs and have Travis on.
Yes, I'm all for that.
Because Travis has some really good takes that.
Spaceballs is amazing.
But you heard the story about Travis, right?
Yes. Watching Spaceballs before he ever knew Star Wars existed. Yes.
He thought that Star Wars was a spoof of Spaceballs. So when we do Spaceballs, and we will do Spaceballs, we will definitely try and get Travis on because I need to hear his point of view on it a little more.
We got to schedule a time to do Rad too with Articulated Chad. Yeah, I said it. That's your name. It's always your name.
You know what? Articulated Chad sounds better than It's Chad.
I agree.
I said it.
Yeah, I said it too. I agree.
So she's just in disapproval of him. She is just in disapproval that he would do this. And then he drags him down, throws him in the river.
Yeah, which of course he floats over to Wesley's place.
Yeah, he floats right towards Brad's.
Of course.
Thank God that's where the current was going.
Whatever. Didn't matter. He was dead.
Yes. And this is where the first time that you see that Brad Wesley is scared.
Yep.
Because
this is the first moment he realizes his number one gun is gone.
Yes.
Now he's got a bunch of stooges underneath him. These low-life little townsy people that have been backing him up. His relatives and the losers he's hired from this town.
Yeah. So off topic here. Wade, I watched Hot Shots before Top Gun, but did you think that Top Gun was the spoof of Hot Shots? That's the question.
Yeah, no.
If you said to your boys, "Oh my God, I cannot believe Tom Cruise spoofed this movie,"
I love Hot Shots Part 2.
Travis,
that's my favorite.
Travis, we make fun of you because we care.
Never saw Hot Shots either. Come on, man.
Listen, I didn't see Hot Shots for a long time, and I think I watched it in the last couple of years.
Allison, Top Gun is a great movie. Top Gun Maverick is a really good sequel. It's worth a watch.
Okay. Maverick is a great sequel.
Yes,
it is great. It is a great movie. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if you don't like Tom Cruise. He hasn't done anything like Masterson, raping women and shit like that. Should have said that. improperly penetrating women or trying to.
Well, that's because he's. Oh, never mind.
Scientologist. I mean, they're both Scientologists.
Yeah, but I think yeah. Anyway.
Tom is not what you're going to try and say he is. He likes women way too much.
You think so? Yeah, he always picks the 25 to 35-year-old ones. Once they're 35 years old, he dumps them. Yeah.
Yeah. Your point is, he's a vampire. He can't stay with them till they start getting old.
Obviously, he's Lestat.
All right, we're getting way off topic here. All right, so yeah, he yells at Brad Wesley.
He does his Shawshank Redemption, yelling at the
She's done with him. He's crazy. She's just No one calls the police though. I mean, police are never called. She just shakes his head in disapproval. I mean, I would love that if I killed a man by ripping his Adam's apple out with my bare hand, that I could have a girl just look at me in disapproval and shake her head and walk away. Like that would be all that she would do.
Right.
I can't believe. You know what? I cannot believe you did that. You know what? I'm not talking to you the rest of the night. So then he's
and then we get the Dalton drives up in his Benz. He brings his Benz to the Double Deuce. So this tells you that he's done. He's out. And then he gets the phone call, and they talk about the coin flip, and says one of them dies. And then right after that phone call, Wade stumbles in the bar like he's been beat to shit.
Wade. Sorry, total off topic, but we have two Mr. Wonderfuls here. We have Mr. Wonderful and Mr. Wonderful.
Whoa.
I was really young, so I watched Top Gun after Hot Shots, and I couldn't understand why the hell it was so much like Hot Shots. That is exactly what Travis here said. So I do see your point. If you're younger, I can understand. The Star Wars thing, I'm not so sure about, considering it was everywhere.
The police are at home watching Cheers. Yes, it's Thursday night, prime time in 1988. Priorities. Allison, oh, you crack me up every time.
Mr. Wonderful. Travis.
What a youngin'.
You know what? I love it, though. This is such good content.
Yes, it is. It's amazing.
I'm creating content when I should be asleep.
We'll get there. We're 2:20 in, right? So okay, we're almost done.
What did I say before we started? Let's try to wrap this up by midnight. You said it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, we're almost there. Oh wait, hey, we're a little ways of midnight from where I am. Sorry.
So I can sleep in on Saturday. That's how I look at it.
There you go. Wade stumbles in and he's like, there were only 3 of them. And, he's like getting ready to die. And basically he says, we're out of here, brother. We're gone. And he's like, attaboy, mijo.
Yep. So this is after he got the phone call.
Yep.
All right.
We got the coin flip phone call. So we know that Wesley flipped the coin, but Wade is still alive. And now he's like, oh, shit, I got to go check on the girl.
Yes, I do kind of see it. It's Sam Elliott. That's Sam Elliott. But I do see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying there.
Wait, that's funny to me. Thinking of Charlie Sheen as a badass in anything is just funny.
He has tiger blood. This is why on Monday night I hit like 11:50 when I'm like I should be wrapping it up. I think the slappiness starts kicking in.
Oh, there's
That's why
something
you
to
end up getting an extra 15 to 20 minutes out of it. But I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to fill 3 hours.
Well, but there it is. All of a sudden, told you 3 hours is a sweet spot, man.
So Wade shows up and he's like, you know what? I'm getting the doc. We're getting out of here.
Yeah, fuck it. And then we go to the hospital and he's trying to physically accost everybody to get her out of there. I mean, he looks like a stalker, an abusive boyfriend trying to get his girlfriend out of the situation.
She's an X-ray. He knows exactly where X-ray is, and he just walks in and starts throwing shit in her purse.
Right.
Like, what are you throwing in there? Like, she is the only doctor in this town, and you're just telling her to leave.
She's not the only doctor. She's just the hottest doctor.
Well, okay. I love that he's like, we're out of here. Like, we've caused all this chaos. Let's bolt.
Well, and he's like, he's going to kill you. He's crazy. And she's like, and you're not?
She didn't have a point. She did just watch him rip someone's throat out.
Right? I mean, and she didn't report it to the police officers as a medical provider. Sorry, whole other thing.
So I couldn't find any pictures of him trying to, like, abduct her out of her hospital.
Yeah, no, that was bad.
But he's just like, you know what? Fine. You stay and die. I don't care. I'm going to go back, get Wade. We're going to go to the next town, pick up some pussy there. Now,
and before he leaves, remember he tells Wade to have a beer and chill out until he gets back, and then he comes back and thinks Wade's had too many beers
and got up on the bar
and laid down on the bar and fell asleep.
Why he wouldn't lay down on a booth where his pad is, I don't know.
Because it's closer to the alcohol there.
Yes, but he also has a bad limp, and he clearly doesn't like getting up on things. He did not like going up on the ladder when that's clearly why Dalton climbed the rope. He's like, you are not coming up that ladder.
Yeah, exactly. And there he is. Wade's dead.
And this we see it was Tails. So
it was Tails. And what does Dalton do at this point? He puts his hands on the knife and takes it out and carries it to his Mercedes-Benz and puts it in his car.
Yeah.
Dumbass, you're now the murderer as far as police are concerned.
But there's a reason why he removes the knife.
I know. It's movie bullshit.
But you do get a really like, you can tell he was really upset. Like, this is like his only friend. Obviously, because he kills his other ones.
Well, he moves around so much, right? And he's the boss man, and so he's always got to keep everybody at a distance. So this is the only guy that's ever been he's been close to on a friendship level, and that's gonna hurt him.
And they do a good job. He doesn't just like pull the knife out. He struggles because if a knife was plunged into you that deep, you're not just pulling it out.
Nope.
But he pulls it. You're right. He leaves his fingerprints all over it. But let's be honest. The guy's he just killed some guy. Just ripped his throat out. This town's fucked.
Yeah.
Right? Even if he saves it, it's screwed. And he takes it and he puts it through the pedal, which is virtually impossible.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Pedals are
that's a steel pedal with a rubber overlay, and you're not going to get through the steel part to pin it to the inside of the car to make it stick. No, putting a brick on the pedal, that works. Sticking a knife through the pedal,
But there was a reason why he did it.
Sure, he wanted to send the message.
No.
But all the guy sees is this car coming towards him, and they start freaking out. So they start shooting the car up, thinking that Dalton's in it. And then when it veers off, they realize that he's not in it.
Wait, well, no, it's not the. he put it in there because then he was going to see whoever took it and put it in their sheath. Then he would know who killed him.
Yeah, because he knew that was going to happen. But it did happen.
Because he tells him that's Tails or something like that. So
yep.
There's 4 of these guys shooting at this. And the guy that ended up stabbing Wade, you could tell he's the only person that's ever fired a real gun.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one that has the stock up to his shoulder.
Yep.
The bartender is firing from his hip.
Yep.
Barry Funk is doing this. Like, dude, you're like the biggest, strongest guy on there, and you're like...
Yeah, he's literally pulling the trigger. So basically, if that's a static, he's still piping a shell there, or hit himself in the head. You know, one of the two.
So he pulls up the car. They go check it. Of course, all the windows are tinted, even the front window.
Yep.
And cars also don't drive straight if there's no one in them. But neither here nor there.
Hey, man, he had really good alignment on that Mercedes-Benz. I'm just saying.
Maybe he just got it.
Tie down
right?
Just got it. Perfect frame, no damage. Tires are perfectly balanced. Everything was perfect on that car. And that's why
before he leaves town, he stops at Firestone. He's like, hey, you know what? Rotate these bad boys. You never know when I need to stick a knife through the gas pedal to drive into some rich guy's mansion. So they go check it, of course. He's not there. They see the knife. This guy pulls the knife out, puts it in his sheath. So now he knows wherever he is, who killed Wade.
Yep. He goes through systematically, taking out everybody one by one.
Yeah.
You know, he's systematically killing everybody from the backside or whatever as they're all spread out through the house as he's going through the house, because he apparently knows the entire layout of the house too.
Well, he was in there once.
Yeah.
Well, he takes out Terry Funk, but you don't see why, or you don't see how, and you don't see if he killed him. He's just laid out. Because he's the one who finds him first.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think they made it pretty apparent that he was killing everybody.
Yeah, but you don't see it. I'm saying, like, he's just out. It's kind of like Stan Lee going, I didn't want to have a backstory for the X-Men, so they just have powers.
And then you get the bear that falls on Tigger or whatever his name is.
Well, he ends up stabbing him. It says something like it was Tails. Basically let him know like who it was. The bartender shoots from the top. Of course, he turns it. Of course, it's it's buckshot, but it completely misses him.
Right, yeah, because that's the way buckshot works. It only goes to one location. It doesn't go all over the place.
Then he takes the knife, so now technically you're right. Technically, this knife has killed 3 people, and his fingerprints are off.
There you go.
And then Tigger is scared of this bear.
And the bear falls right on top of him. And
on top of him.
Maybe he liked it. I don't know.
But Tigger is
the bear thing.
Tigger is out of ammunition, like the new Valaverse weapons.
Oh.
And then we get the fight scene between Brad Wesley and Dalton.
Yep.
And
he's like, let's talk. And they're like, let's fight.
Yeah. This is kind of like having the main bad guy at the end of Commando fight Arnold before Bennett fights him. You would have been like, all right, you already killed Bennett.
Right.
So this guy has his staff. First off, he throws the spear. Perfect. It was on a wire.
Throw. Yeah.
Right?
Well, don't tell everybody it was on a wire. It was a perfect throw.
He threw it as good as Arnold throwing the pipe through Bennett.
Yeah.
I had never noticed how perfect that spear was till I watched it. I'm like, that was the most perfect throw I have ever seen in my life. Blind Fury. Well, we can figure something out. So this thing, it goes pretty bad. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Patrick Swayze.
Basically, he gets to the point where he decides he's not going to kill Wesley. He's gonna let him live for whatever freaking reason because the girl shows up and he doesn't want to kill in front of the girl again.
Yes.
And then right before Wesley pulls the gun and is going to shoot Dalton in the back, that's when all of the townspeople show up with shotguns and start shooting him with their shotguns. And every single one of them shoots him.
Who is the first one that shoots him?
Red.
And who is Red? Her uncle.
Her uncle, yeah.
She screams when she sees Red get shot. I'm like, dude, you just watched some guy get his Adam's apple ripped out. Right. This is nothing.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, so Red shoots him. Emmett shoots him. Pete shoots him. And then Frank shoots him. And so you've got the auto parts dealer, the guy that rented him the house, the car dealer, and the bar owner.
Yes. And then Tigger gets up.
Well, no, the cops get there.
I thought Tigger. Oh, so here she is screaming. Like
the cops are coming. Who was it? Frank? Was it Frank? Anyway, somebody starts collecting all the shotguns.
Yes.
And they hand them off to Red, and Red takes the shotguns away.
Where did they put them? And I hope they took the knife too. I hope they went and took the knife from the bartender out of him.
Red takes the shotguns and does something with them. He puts them in the closet. I don't know. I mean, they just off camera somewhere.
He is back when the police come in there and ask what happened.
And he said, I didn't see anything. I didn't see nothing. And what does Tigger say?
A polar bear fell out.
A polar bear fell on me.
And they laugh. They just murdered a guy. And they're laughing.
Not one guy. That entire household is filled with bodies.
Nobody saw anything.
Nobody saw nothing.
And the cops are supposed to be in. And I guess weren't the cops in Wesley's pocket?
Yes.
So wouldn't they have automatically just arrested these guys?
Yes. Wouldn't any law enforcement coming across this scene arrest all of the people in the house until they figured out what the hell happened? Yes.
Okay. So I asked, why were the cops there already? Why was Elizabeth there? Upstairs.
How did she get there?
She was upstairs. Right?
I didn't think about that.
Look, she's like upstairs, right? She's on the stairs. Makes me think she was banging.
She wanted to watch the violence from the best viewpoint.
I'm not wrong. She was upstairs, wasn't she?
She was upstairs.
Maybe it's one of those houses where the main door, like you go. I don't know. But then the cops come right in.
Cops came right in. I mean, they were there pretty PDQ, man. They were there PDQ.
And that's it.
And that's the end of the movie. We go to the next party, and we see Doc and Dalton skinny dipping, and that's kind of the end of the movie.
But what is the creepiest part of Doc and Dalton skinny dipping?
That they're in front of Emmett's house, in between Wade's and Emmett's house.
Emmett's sitting right there, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
He's sitting right there while Dalton goes running in butt naked. He dives in. I'm like, and I hit a watch. I'm like, that is Emmett just sitting there. Like, you fucking perv, man. But is that even being a perv if you're there and they know? Like, Don't
I mean,
mind me.
everybody was watching. I mean, Brad was watching from his house. Emmett knew the whole thing was going on. He's a good Presbyterian trying to stay good with the church, but whatever.
That town don't have no forensic teams.
No.
Wait,
Not
Wade
at all.
says, okay, so they flushed the guns down the toilet.
They stuck him up the polar bear.
You know what? And a polar bear fell on me. Yes, they had a party at the end. Like
They had a party at the end. Yeah, that was the end of the movie. They had a rager celebrating that Wesley was gone.
yeah, what did happen to the hot girlfriend?
Well, I mean, she probably went back to whoring like she did before.
But so I mentioned this earlier. I like the fact that Steve, was it? Yeah, Steve gets fired.
Yeah.
Like the guy just looks like a douchebag that's a jerk.
Whatever. Yeah, he was
like he didn't just instantly come over here and start working with Wesley.
Yeah.
You didn't have the chick that was selling drugs. She didn't come. Like I'm glad they didn't make everyone they got fired come back for some revenge. Now
Right.
you would assume they could do that they could have done that for the sequel that never happened.
Well, there is a remake.
No, there is no sequel.
There's a remake coming.
Well, there already was one with.
Shh.
Yes. Yeah. Listen, I don't know why you want to remake a movie like this.
No.
Now, I saw the Red Dawn remake. It was actually filmed here, and they actually had one of our copiers at their place, so I got to see things before they changed it. They changed the country. That remake isn't that bad. All right?
Yeah.
It's not. Listen, it's not the original.
No.
I mean, I don't care that there was airplane parts in front of some guy's house for years, because that's where they filmed some of this stuff. But I don't know why why would you want to remake this movie? Like,
I don't know why anybody wants to remake anything that was good. If it was already good, there's no point remaking it. If it was crap, then you can remake it and try to make it better. I mean, there's a reason to do that. But if something was really good and popular, don't freaking remake it.
You just take the concept of it and make your own thing.
Make something different. I mean, Neil Gaiman did that with Stardust, right? So Stardust is like a spiritual sequel to The Princess Bride. It's in kind of the same vein. It's this fantasy thing, right? Do something different.
Why did they remake Footloose? Exactly. That's what makes Top Gun Maverick so good. They didn't remake it.
Right.
It was a sequel that, even though it was 40 years later or whatever it was, it made sense. It worked. And everything that they did for that, again, I know people don't like Tom Cruise. I don't know how you could avoid seeing Top Gun if you were, if you had TV on Saturday and Sunday, it showed up. But then again, there's a lot of movies like Goonies. I know it's been on 100 times, and I've just never watched it.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, man. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
All the Indiana Joneses have been on Saturday and Sunday numerous times, and I just ignore it.
All right. We haven't discussed this, but what's the next one?
Well, I picked this one.
Yeah.
I figured I would give you the option to pick the next one.
Oh man, I mean, there's so many good ones to go through, and so many ones that I want to see. But what kind of thing would you be most interested in? Quirky, funny?
I either like. Okay, so I mean, like Big Rib is here saying like Spaceballs.
Well, okay, but I mean, we need to schedule time with
Yeah,
certain people to
I
do
want.
Spaceballs. We need to schedule time with certain people to do Rad. You know,
Yeah,
those are things we need to work out logistically with other people too.
I either like doing slapstick comedy or something like this,
Yeah,
where it's a guilty pleasure.
yeah.
You know, again, like this is a movie that we've all seen 1,000 times. Well, not Mr. Wonderful. Um, I, this is the type of stuff I like.
Yeah, I'm kind of going back and forth between two things because I feel like um, Goonies is something that you should see, but I also have been thinking about Time Bandits lately. Time Bandits was awesome. Terry Gilliam piece there too, but you know, I like Terry Gilliam.
Now, where can we get those though? Do we have to buy them, or are they on?
I
Big
don't know.
Rim, did you not ask this before already?
What's that?
We already did Big Trouble in Little China.
Go back and watch it.
Was it you that? There was someone else that said that. Like we've
Somebody
already
else said
done that
too.
one.
We already did that one.
All right, so Mr. Wonderful here. So quickly, he says, "Hold on to Spaceballs until after 9/8 if you want me to join."
Okay.
Listen, there's lots of movies, and we only
Yeah.
do this every other week. So, yeah, no, I have no problem
Yeah,
having
plenty.
a third person. And this one was hilarious. Like, I had honestly, I had a blast with this one. Like
this was a lot of fun. I really
the
did
fact
like
that
this
you
one.
brought out the dossier, like why did he have his school, all his schooling, his medical records,
All right.
in his
So,
manila folder?
do you have Amazon Prime?
Yes.
Well, then you have Goonies, so we can do Goonies.
Okay. I've seen parts of Goonies. It's not like I've just never sat down and wanted to watch Goonies.
You think about who a lot of those actors became later in life. It's really interesting because you've got Thanos is in this movie.
Yeah.
You've got Samwise Gamgee. You know, it's a good cast of people.
Okay. So Goonies is for the next, 2 weeks.
Yep.
All right.
And who do you have on next Thursday?
So next Thursday I have Ostradamus on.
Oz. All right,
So,
the Oz man.
Oz will be on next Thursday, 9:00. I moved it to 9, so hopefully I can get done before midnight. I'm awful. I go to work so late, like so bad. But I don't care. You would honestly think that it would be easier to get up and get going when my kids aren't in school because I get to wake up a little bit later, but it's that much worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Final thoughts on Roadhouse. It's a great movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
It is a guilty pleasure. It is such a well-written, and the chemistry is just so good. And I didn't notice it till watching it this time.
Yeah, the chemistry was great. The interactions were great. The way they cut everything together was amazing. Yeah. It really worked well together, and they threw in some philosophy stuff a little bit here and there, and it really set the tone for some kind of action movies with a little something else to it, where it's not the biggest guy doing the thing. It's the more unassuming guy who is in control of the situation. There's a lot of subtleties to this movie that I think can be missed sometimes. And I don't think it's a guilty pleasure. I think it's just a really good movie.
Yeah, and you never looked at him and said like, "Ugh, he's just too small,"
Right.
because he wasn't fighting big, huge powerhouses.
Yeah.
Terry Funk was probably the biggest guy.
Yep.
But he also talks about like you take a guy's knee out, he can be the biggest guy in the world, he's gonna drop. So I love this movie. Like this is a movie again. If I sit down this Saturday and it's on, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Unless the Born Identity is on another station, then I'll watch the Born Identity.
The Fifth Element's like that for me. If that's on, I'm gonna watch it. That's just.
I like the Fifth Element, but it's not it's not like my go-to.
Well, it is one of my favorites because my wife happened to work on it. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah. The Bourne movies, to me, the Bourne movies are one of those it was like Michael Keaton's playing Batman. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Matt
The first three anyway. The first three Bourne movies were good.
Yes. Well, then there's the one with Hawkeye, who I've never seen.
Yeah, no, that was not. So
and then the last one is decent. I don't really remember it so much. I didn't like the fact that he was so big, because he got big for some other movies and roles, and so he was still really big. So.
Yep, Wade Corbin, my man, Corbin Dallas.
So anyway,
so that's what we're headed for. So we got Oz next Thursday, talking with Punk about things, and then after that we're gonna hit Goonies. So we appreciate you guys watching. Thank you, Mr. Wonderful. Big Rib, we enjoyed your commentary.
Wait a minute. Big Rib, we talked about Jim Cotta. Did we talk about Jim Cotta here?
I don't know that we're talking about Jim Cotta.
Did we?
I don't remember
then
if it was here.
Maybe it was when I was sitting with Travis and them. I talked about Jim Cotta with someone.
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen Jim Cotta. It is the karate guy that's a gymnast.
Yep.
And I saw a preview for it, and I actually went out and rented it many years ago. That is something I could definitely see us going back.
Oh, you know what? We need to hit The Last Dragon at some point, too.
The Last Dragon is...
Oh, that movie's so awesome. Show enough, man. Show enough.
Okay. And I would love... I mean, I mentioned before, I would love to do the Kentucky Fried Movie.
Oh, yeah.
Just don't know if we could do it.
That would be a challenge, yes.
But we could do Fistful of Yen.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize how much of a spoof it really was. I knew it was, but then you watch the movie and you're like, oh my gosh, this is really Enter the Dragon.
Yeah. Well,
but anyway, we are going to go because we'll be.
Thank you guys for everybody. Travis, Allison, we appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with us and constantly commenting. Wade, awesome to see you as always. We enjoyed your commentary. Please join us next Thursday for Oz and Mondays for Toy Ramblings with Lawrence. And then after that, the Thursday after with us for Goonies. So have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.